you don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look at better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the third part of What If Naruto Joins Pokemon World. Special note, this fanfic is written in a masterpiece of KitsuneDragon on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. The next day, after a little rest at the Pokémon Center, Naruto, who had just finished shining his badges and replacing his Rattata with Heracross, Hinata and their partners stood up to go and get ready to head out for the next town. Kiba and Shino had won their challenge against Shibai yesterday, and had already left for the next town. City and Akatsuchi seemed to disappear. They were about to exit when the television started blaring out annoying, yet catchy music, notifying the viewers about the important news report. Hello Johto region, Anko Mitarashi here, and today I'm here to tell you all about the next upcoming contest. Ever since Violet City, we, the committee for the Johto Region's Contest Association, have come up with the next place for the second contest. The next contest will take place in the largest city in all of Johto, a spectacular mall complex, and the renowned bicycle shop, and the normal type Pokemon gym. You've guessed it, Goldenrod City. So hurry on down, up, left, right, wherever you're coming from and attend this event, cause it's only 2 days from now. Anko's image then vanished from the screen as the news cut to a commercial. Well, Hinata-chan, seems you guys have a new contest, and right where my next gym battle is gonna take place too. Naruto grinned. Lava. The volcano Pokemon nudged Eevee and smiled. Eevee's eyes turned into upside down us. VERYYYY. So let's go, Naruto said, and the two trainers headed out of the Pokémon Center with their new partners. After they passed the gym towards the passage that led out of Azalea, they were stopped by someone yelling, VOICEOVER. The two trainers turned along with their partners and blinked as they saw the speeding red blob of a hiker that was Akatsuchi. Akatsuchi panted, clutching his knees. Naruto and Hinata turned to each other. You think he's okay? I think so, the blue-black-haired girl replied. Akatsuchi released a sigh as he regulated his breathing and stood up. You guys weren't gonna leave without me, were you? Akatsuchi asked with a grin. Well, you disappeared, so we didn't think you were coming, Hinata said. Akatsuchi smirked and draped his arms around the preteen. Well, the more the merrier, Naruto grinned as he patted the older man's back. Though ... why? Aren't you gonna miss having fun hiking? Oh please, and miss out on the fun you guys seem to have. Besides, I can be useful and I'd miss Hinata's great back massages, Akatsuchi said. Hinata was suddenly grabbed by Naruto, held protectively as if she were a toy someone wouldn't share. No, Hinata-chan's mine and her hands are to only massage my back, Naruto said. Hinata's face turned red at what Naruto said. I am in Naruto-kun's. She blinked as the blood caused her brain to overheat and she fainted. Og, Hinata-chan, Naruto said as he saw his travel companion fall unconscious in his arms. He shook the girl like a rag doll as her arms flailed about like a gasping Magikarp. One hand had extended and nailed Akatsuchi twice on the same cheek, causing him to yelp in pain. Itachi, the elder man screamed. PFFT, should have known the dobe was the cause for all this commotion, a deep voice said. Naruto, Akatsuchi and the two Pokemon turned to see the raven-haired Uchiha standing with his newly evolved Crocodile, and Sakura with her Chikorita resting atop her head. Sasuke team, the blonde growled. Crocodile snapped its jaws as it glared at Quilava, who ignited its flames. The two rivals stared each other. You know, I caught some strong new Pokemon in Violet City. I bet I can wipe the floor with you, Sasuke smirked arrogantly. Yeah, show him, Sasuke-kun, Sakura grinned. The leaf Pokemon atop her head simply marveled at Azalea Town's scenery. Naruto turned to Hinata and gently shook her this time. Oi, Hinata-chan, the brunette's eyes opened as she saw her crush looking down at her. And Naruto-kun? She asked as she stood back up. Yeah, we're gonna be having a slight setback on our way to Goldenrod, Naruto said. Hinata tilted her head in confusion before she looked at where Quilava and Eevee were staring. Her eyes widened when caught sight of Sasuke and Sakura. Oh ... well, Jay, just beat him quick and then we can be on our way, Hinata said. Sasuke scoffed at Hinata's remark. Please, you really think the dobe can beat me? Hinata nodded. He beat you back in Cherrygrove City, Hinata reminded the Uchiha. The boy stiffened slightly and gritted his teeth. That was luck. Yeah, that was luck, the sometimes annoying Sakura added. Let's see you back that up, Team Naruto said as he and Quilava took a step forward. How's 3-on-3 sound? Sasuke asked as he and Crocodile stared down their rivals. Naruto smirked and made a come motion with his hand. Bring it. Akatsuchi took his place between the two trainers as the acting referee. Alright you two, I want a good, clean battle. No obstructions from the viewers. He looked at both Sakura and Hinata as they looked at their respective crushes. Chikorita and Eevee were busy sitting and watching the battle attentively. Sasuke and Naruto nodded as they each took out a Pokeball. Alright, hey Jam. Akatsuchi brought his hand down in a chopping motion. Heracross, I choose you. Go Ghastly. Both Pokemon appeared in flashes of white light from the red and white spheres. The Ghost-type Pokemon was a relatively large black orb with 2 white eyes and dots for pupils. Its body was composed of a purple gas of some sort. The Ghost Pokemon seemed to put on an everlasting smile as it looked at the bug, fighting type. Heracross, Aerial Ace. Naruto commanded. Heracross spread its wings and flew into the air. Forming a loop-de-loop, it built up speed and momentum before crashing into Ghastly. The ghost type wailed in pain before its body began to glow with dark energy. Ghastly, counter with Nightshade. Sasuke commanded. The blast of shadow rocketed from Ghastly's body, slamming into Heracross at close range. The horn Pokemon flipped in midair, skidding along the ground to stop itself. Now use Lick. Ghastly's long tongue extended from its spherical head towards Heracross. Heracross, dodge it and then strike back with Night Slash. Naruto commanded. The bug type quickly rolled into a ball and rolled beneath the extremely long tongue. Once it reached beneath Ghastly, Heracross' claws became coated with shadow and performed an uppercut. The powerful super effective move crashed into the ghost type, sending it flying through the air. Ghastly, quick hide underground. Ghastly nodded to its trainer and phased through the ground. Heracross and Naruto glared as they watched the ground. So its body is as light as air, we can't feel where it will come from. Naruto gritted his teeth as he tried to think of a way to counteract the ghost type. Ghastly. The ghost type suddenly appeared beneath the dual type Pokemon and launched its tongue, wrapping it around Heracross. The tongue raised high into the air before slamming Heracross down on the ground and then smothering it with saliva. Heracross became paralyzed from the variation of a lick attack. Heracross, quick get up. Use Aerial Ace. Naruto commanded. The dual type got up to follow its trainer's command but suddenly froze up as the paralysis began to affect it. Naruto gritted his teeth as Ghastly suddenly surrounded itself with dark energy. Nightshade. Sasuke yelled. The blast of shadow crashed into Heracross, sending the horned Pokemon skidding backwards. Naruto cursed as his Pokemon was bombarded by repeated blasts of shadow energy from the ghost type before getting an idea. Heracross, use Brick Break on the ground. Heracross' arms glowed white and the bug, fighting Pokemon released cry as it smashed the earth. The earth broke apart as Heracross jumped across the ground and smashed the ground again. Once there were multiple holes in the ground, Heracross' arms stopped glowing. What's Naruto doing? Sakura asked. Hinata shrugged at the Pinkette's question. I really don't know, she replied. Naruto looked at the holes in the earth and nodded in satisfaction before looking back at the ground. Sasuke was still in confusion of his opponent's move, but continued. Ghastly, finish this with one more Nightshade. Sasuke yelled. Heracross was panting and that Nightshade would have really finished it off, but Naruto looked at the holes in the earth and smirked where he saw little purple vapors seeping through the cracks to Heracross left. Heracross to the left, use Brick Break to smash the ground and then Night Slash. Naruto commanded. Heracross nodded and went over to the cracked ground and broke a hole in it with Brick Break, revealing the surprised Ghastly as the ground broke apart. Then Heracross' other arm became coated in shadow and smashed down on the ghost-type Pokemon. Ghastly, the Spectre cried out in pain. Heracross jumped into the ground and slammed another Night Slash into its opponent before performing an uppercut. The 3-hit combo sent Ghastly soaring through the air before falling to the ground unconscious between the two trainers. Heracross panted as it smirked. Heracross. The bug type cried in victory. Winner, Heracross. Akatsuchi cried out. Naruto cheered as he hugged his newest Pokemon. How did Naruto-kun know where Ghastly was? Hinata asked. Sakura surveyed the area and snapped her fingers in realization. Oh, I get. Naruto had used Brick Break to open the ground, and since Ghastly is in a gaseous state, sometimes the gas would seep through the cracks, thus allowing Naruto to find Ghastly and win. Guess he's not that much of a baka after all, the Pinkette complimented as she watched Naruto get wrestled to the ground by his Pokemon as it gave him a noogie. You got lucky, Sasuke growled as he returned Ghastly to its ball. He attached the ball back to his belt and pulled out another Pokeball. Let's see you take on this one. Gozi Ubiate. Heracross, you still up for it? Naruto asked. Heracross panted before overlooking itself. It was a bit damaged, but it felt like it'd still fight. Not wanting to disappoint its trainer, Heracross gave a nod. Alright then, use aerial ace. Heracross opened its wings and flew towards the bat. Zubat, use supersonic. Sasuke commanded. A blast of high-frequency sound waves traversed the air, affecting Heracross, causing it to pause just as it was finishing the loop-de-loop to gain momentum for aerial ace. Heracross began to fly around aimlessly. Heracross. Naruto cried out to his Pokémon, but the horned Pokémon fell to the ground. Zubat, finish it. Use wing attack. Zubat performed the flying type move, a streak of color appearing behind it as it flew towards the weakened Pokémon and crashed its wings against Heracross' face. Heracross was badly damaged by the super effective hit, especially since flying type move were super effective against both of Heracross types. Heracross rolled along the ground before stopping. Tira, cross the bug, fighting type fainted. Naruto frowned. Heracross is unable to battle. Zubat wins at Akatsuchi announced. You did good, buddy. Take a rest. A red beam flew from Heracross' Pokeball and hit the Pokémon. Heracross vanished into its ball as Naruto returned it to his belt. Naruto looked over Zubat. A flying type Suo Marip, I choose you. The wool Pokémon appeared out of its ball in a flash of light. Sasuke gritted his teeth. Fuso ... If only I had a ground type, the raven-haired boy thought. Marip, let's end this quick. Thunder wave. Marip released a cry as it launched a bolt of blue lightning from its body. The electricity arced through the air. Zubat, dodge and counter with Astonish. Zubat nodded as it performed a barrel roll to avoid the attack before clapping its wings together. A loud clapping sound resounded through the air, and as sound waves slammed into Marip, causing the electric type to flinch. Sasuke smirked. Now use wing attack. Sasuke commanded his Pokémon. The bat Pokémon flew through the air and performed a wing strike, ending Marip skidding backwards. Marip, you okay? The wool Pokémon shook its head as it got over the flinch and nodded. Meh, it replied. Alright, use tackle. The sheep Pokémon launched itself at Zubat and scored a hit, discombobulating it. Quick Zubat, counter with supersonic. Sasuke yelled. Zubat's jaws released high-frequency sound waves once more. Marip turned and froze as the attack struck it. Marip teetered from side to side as it was confused. Fuso, Marip, snap out of it. Use Thundershock. The electric Pokémon teetered around for a while before ramming its head into the ground, thus hurting itself. Hahaha, your little Marip is too confused to listen. Zubat, bite attack. Zubat. The bat Pokémon cried out its name as it bared its fangs. It bit down on Marip's wool and pierced through it, sinking the fangs into Marip's neck and drew a bit of blood before it pulled away. Marip released a cry of pain from the attack and the two holes in its neck leaked the red liquid. Marip, come on, snap out of it. Naruto yelled. Marip continued to teeter a bit. Use Thundershock. Marip cried as it performed its attack. The bolt of blue lightning flew through the air towards the flying type Pokémon. PFFT. Please, Zubat can easily dodge it, Sasuke said as he smirked at Naruto's stupidity. Naruto smirked. You'd think so, wouldn't you? Naruto asked. Sasuke looked surprised as he watched his Pokémon. Sparks of blue electrical charge surrounded its body. Don't tell me. Yup, Marip's static ability finally kicked in and now Zubat's down for the count. Naruto said as he made a thumbs down gesture with his hands. Zubat screeched as it was blasted by the electrical attack, sending it spiraling to the ground. Zubat had fainted. Looks like that's it for Zubat, Akatsuchi commented. Sasuke gritted his teeth as he returned Zubat to its Pokeball. Naruto returned Marip to the Pokeball as well. Crocodile, let's go, Sasuke said to his starter. Crocodile walked up to the battlefield and snapped its jaws ready to face its opponent. Naruto wondered for a while. Marip would be perfect, but I want to keep it healthy just in case. Wooper has water absorb ability to counter the water moves, but it'll still be vulnerable to bite attack and I haven't really trained it as it needs more experience. Kijato. Naruto thought for a while as he wondered whether or not his rival starter has learned Ice Fang or not. It was a tough decision as Crocodile was Sasuke's strongest Pokémon and it could easily defeat his others, and the only one strong enough to match it was. Naruto sighed as he turned to his partner. You up for it, Quilava? Naruto asked. Quilava's crimson eyes stared into Crocodile's own as its flames ignited. Quilava, the volcano Pokémon, replied, ready to fight its rival Pokémon. Crocodile smirked as it made a come motion with its claws. Naruto-kun, what are you doing? Hinata stuttered in surprise. Yeah, Naruto Baka. Don't you know fire types are weak against water? Sakura yelled. Naruto ignored the two girls as he turned to Akatsuchi. You sure about sending out Quilava? The large hiker asked. Naruto nodded in confirmation. Akatsuchi shrugged. Alright, you're the boss. Crocodile versus Quilava. Akatsuki threw down his arms. Hey Jame. Quilava used quick attack. Naruto yelled. Quilava took off like a shot and slammed into Croconaw stomach, sending the big jaw Pokemon backwards. Croconaw grunted in pain, but stood firm. Alright, Croconaw, use water gun, Sasuke said. Quilava, counter with Ember. Both fire and water collided in midair, but the high-pressure water overpowered the miniature fireballs, turning them to steam. Quilava, duck quick. The momentum of the water gun had slowed down due to its collision with the Ember, and thus Quilava was able to avoid the attack. However, just as the water ended, Croconaw was suddenly in Quilava's face. Use water gun. With no area to dodge, Quilava was struck by the powerful super effective move. Quilava was sent skidding backwards. Quilava, quick attack, Naruto commanded. Quilava quickly countered with a full body charged, slamming into the crocodile-like Pokemon. Quilava then vanished as it used its superior speed to perform a barrage of quick attacks. Croconaw snapped its jaws in anger before turning and firing a water gun. To your left, Sasuke informed his Pokemon. The big jaw Pokemon turned to see Quilava running towards it and fired another water gun. Use your speed to swerve around it, then flame wheel it, Naruto commanded. Quilava nodded and then used the speed from its quick attack to veer to the left and then jumped. Its flames ignited and increased in size. Quilava rolled like a ball as it descended, and the flames encased it in an orb of flame. The flame wheel struck home and sent Croconaw flying through the air at an angle. Flip to gain your footing, Croconaw, the big jaw Pokemon, did as it was told and smirked as it landed on its feet. However, as it looked up, it was bombarded with a storm of fireballs, courtesy of Quilava's Ember attack. The water type was not hurt badly, but that wasn't the plan. Ember again, Naruto yelled. The attack struck once more and Croconaw shrugged off the attack, albeit it was painful before opening its mouth. Ice Fangs, Sasuke yelled. Why use an ice-type move? Hinata asked. I don't know, maybe he hopes to cool down Quilava's fire. Sakura shrugged. Quilava was bitten and gritted its teeth in pain as the sharp teeth of the Croconaw bit down on its left forelimb. Suddenly the wound was frozen after as the attack froze the entire limb. Right, now that you've slowed down a bit, Croconaw. However, just as Sasuke was about to give a command, Croconaw burst into flames as the burn status from the previous Ember attacks began to affect it. Awesome, my plan worked, Naruto cheered. Don't get so cocky, dope. Sasuke smirked. Use water gun, dodge, and use flame wheel. The volcano Pokemon avoided the blow, mostly, as it was struck on its hind leg. Quilava panted as it was slightly exhausted, but powered through the pain as its body erupted into flames. The ice on its forelimb melted away and the fire type rolled along the ground and crashed into Croconaw. Now use smokescreen to cover your tracks, Naruto commanded. The black smoke erupted from Quilava's mouth after its collision with the water type, thus obstructing the big jaw Pokemon's view. Now quick attack. We don't fall for the same trick twice, Sasuke announced as he remembered this same strategy from when he and Naruto first battled with their new starters. The big jaw Pokemon turned and slapped its tail in a 360-degree turn. The tail slapped Quilava's face, sending it skidding through the smoke cloud. Croconaw and Quilava panted as they stared at one another, but Quilava flinched as it fell to the ground. Quilava, the volcano Pokemon, struggled to regain its footing, but fell back down. Quilava, Naruto, and Hinata cried out. Evia. The evolution Pokemon ran with its trainer towards the fire type. Sakura cheered for Sasuke. Yeah, alright Sasuke-kun. The Pinkette cried out. Sasuke smirked as he watched his water type. Good job, earning a thumbs up from the water type. Quilava's flames retracted as it was too weak to keep them active. Oi, dobe up for round th. Sasuke paused in his call as he watched Croconaw's tired form. The raven-haired Uchiha's eyes seemed to soften. Flashback. Go Umbreon, Sasuke yelled as he stood with the black Pokemon. The evolution of Eevee ran towards a wild Rattata and blurred from the rat Pokemon's view in a show of speed before slamming into it. The Rattata fainted as Sasuke cheered. Yeah, alright. Sasuke cheered before spying another wild Pokemon. A lone Caterpie. Look Umbreon, another one. How's about another round to make it an even 10? The young 8-year-old asked. Umbreon panted before sitting and shaking its head. What? Come on, I'm your trainer. You have to listen to me. Umbreon's crimson eyes turned on Sasuke, and the young boy was frozen beneath the intensity of the glare. Sasuke, Sasuke, a voice called out. Sasuke and Umbreon turned before a figure walked out of the tall grass. Sasuke, have you seen ... Oh, there you are. Sasuke looked at the boy. He was at least 13 years old and had long black hair held back by a ponytail. He wore a black, high-collared t-shirt with the image of the Uchiha fan on the back and a pair of short pants that extended just past his knees. A pair of socks and dark blue shoes completed the image. Itachi Nai-san, Umbreon won't listen to me. as he saw Umbreon run back to its original trainer. Itachi looked over his Pokemon and shook his head. Sasuke, were you and Umbreon having a little training? The older Uchiha asked. Sasuke nodded with a grin. Yup, we won 9 battles in a row. But now Umbreon won't listen me. Sasuke frowned. Itachi sighed as he waved Sasuke over. The younger boy smiled as he ran over to his brother only to be greeted by the harsh poke to his forehead. The cry earned a smile from both the older boy and the Pokemon. Listen to me, Sasuke, Itachi said in a serious tone. You must not overwork your Pokemon. They will not like you after that. I know you will grow to be a strong trainer with strong Pokemon. But if you work your Pokemon too hard, they will stop listening to you. Alright, okay. Itachi Nyai-san. Sasuke nodded before grabbing his older brother's hand. Nyai-san, can you show me how to throw a Pokeball properly again? Hahaha, maybe later. End flashback. Sasuke sighed at the memory as he saw Crocodile panting hard. We'll call it a draw, Sasuke said without emotion. Naruto looked up at that. Huh? The blonde asked. Yeah, Crocodile wouldn't be wasting its time fighting your Mareep knowing it would beat it that, and it's pretty worn out just like your Pokemon. It's a draw, Sasuke said as he and Crocodile headed to the Pokémon Center. Naruto blinked as he and Quilava looked at each other before running after Sasuke towards the Pokémon Center. So that makes 1 win and 1 draw, Naruto said before grinning. You have 1 loss and 1 draw. I'm better than you. Sasuke scoffed. Shut up, Dobe. After the two healed their Pokemon, Sasuke and Sakura headed towards the passage leading outside of Azalea. By Hinata. Naruto, don't be too much of a baka. Naruto sweat dropped at that and waved goodbye to his friend. He had really taken her words to heart during the Violet City contest, and now only saw her as a friend. Once the 2 trainers left, Akatsuchi, Hinata and Naruto turned to see Kurt walking out of his house. Oi, what was all that racket? Oh, it was you? Gaki the Pokeball maker waved the boy over. Naruto and his friends walked over and saw Kurt open the door. Hold on a second there, the old man said as he walked over to a small table. Kurt then took up something from the table. Naruto, Akatsuchi and Hinata looked as Kurt revealed 3 different Pokeballs within his hands. One was a ball with the top half colored pink and had a dark pink heart outlined in silver imprinted on the ball. The second one was like a regular Pokeball, red and white. Only on either side on it were 2 yellow circles, and in the middle of the red half was a yellow pattern that looked similar to a lightning bolt. The third ball was a larger Pokeball, with its top half being a dark gray color. There were 4 orbs of some kind embedded into it, 2 of them being larger than the other 2. These are the Pokeballs I made for you all using the apricorns you guys gave me. The pink one is called the Love Ball, which is good for catching Pokemon which are of the opposite gender to the Pokemon you are using to battle the wild Pokemon. This yellow pattern one is called the Fast Ball, which is used to catch Pokemon that rather fast such as Dodrio, Doduo and Yanma. The gray one is a Heavy Ball, which is used to catch heavyweight Pokemon like Gyarados and Graveler, Kurt explained. I'll take the Love Ball, Hinata said. Fast for me, Naruto said. Guess that leaves me with the Heavy Ball, Akatsuchi said as he put away the large Pokeball in his bag like his friends. Kurt nodded before walking away and walking back into his house. If you ever need me to make another Pokeball, you know where to find me, Kurt said. Arigato, Kurt Jiji. Naruto bowed before he was hit on the head. I'm not old, Kurt yelled as he huffed and walked back into the small house. The 3 then headed through the passage and left Ilex Forest. The group observed the area as they crossed over into what seemed to be a deeply forested area. Hey, Hinata-chan, where are we? Naruto asked. Hinata pulled out her map and looked over it as she looked near the area showing Azalea Town. It seems we're in the Ilex Forest. Oh, once we get out of here, we'll be on Route 34, Hinata informed the blonde. Akatsuchi nodded before seeing something speeding through the grass. Did you guys see that? The large man asked. Naruto and Hinata turned. See what? The black blur suddenly raced in front of them, causing Naruto and Hinata to grip each other in fright. Eek, Naruto and Hinata squeaked. Hinata blushed as she realized how close she was to the blonde. The blur suddenly stopped running before turning and facing them. It looked like a brown and white feathered duck of some kind, only much taller. In its wing was a white reed that was tipped green. Farfetch the Pokemon squawked before running away. A panting sound was heard behind everyone as they saw a man dressed in a fighting gi like what one wears when they do karate, except it was all black. Though from the soot that was already covering his face and hands, or whether that was the clothing's natural color, the 3 trainers couldn't tell. Pantweezo, fuck. Damn that Farfetched. Only running away, the man cursed. Excuse me, was that your Farfetched? Hinata asked. The man nodded. Hi. By the way, name's Sumi. I'm the charcoal maker in Azalea Town, Sumi said as he took a cloth from his pocket and wiped his face. So Sumi, Akatsuchi started, why is your Farfetched only running away? Because it's so goddamn lazy, Sumi huffed. Damn bird. We'll help you catch it if you want, Naruto suggested. Sumi looked confused. Really? The trio, Quilava and Eevee nodded. Arigato, now just a little heads up. Be sure to sneak up behind Farfetch'd. Once it sees you, it would start running like a mad Tauros. Hi, the three replied. The three trainers and 2 Pokemon headed off in the direction Farfetch'd went. They then paused, hiding behind a tree as they spotted the reed-carrying Pokemon. Alright, Quilava and Naruto will go and sneak up behind it. If it sees them, me, Eevee and Hinata, you guys circle around, as this area of the forest seems to be a bit enclosed, so you'll be able to head it off, Akatsuchi explained. The 2 preteens and their Pokemon nodded as they put the plan into motion. The blonde and his starter carefully tiptoed towards the Pokemon. That's it, nice and slow, Naruto thought. Keep poking the ground with your little stick. Gotcha. Naruto and Quilava leaped, but Farfetch'd spun and raised it reed and whacked both trainer and Pokemon in their faces with a dreaded fury attack before running off. Akatsuchi, Hinata-chan, it's coming your way, Naruto called out to his friends. The 2 other trainers nodded. Alright, Hinata, slow it down with Eevee, Akatsuchi said as he threw out a Pokeball. Come on, Geodude. The floating rock Pokemon clenched its fists as it released a cry of Geodude. Alright, Geodude, I need you to use your arms to hold down that Farfetch'd if it gets past Eevee. And Hinata, Akatsuchi informed his Pokemon. The floating imperfect sphere with arms nodded as it turned its eyes onto the squawking Farfetch'd. Eevee, quick, use sand attack to build it. Eevee swept up the dirt on the ground and kicked up a large amount of dust, blinding the bird Pokemon. But Farfetch'd jumped and flapped its wings. The truth was Farfetch'd could fly, it's just that they can't fly well. As a result, the bird Pokemon came crashing to the ground before it was enveloped in a bear hug by Geodude. Farfetch'd far. The reed Pokemon pecked at the rock type, but it did no damage due to Geodude's tough exterior. The rock type levitated towards Sumi, Farfetch'd in hand along with the other trainers, Quilava and Eevee. Sumi thanked the 3 and then reached into his pocket. Here, I only have 1 right now, but as thanks for getting me Farfetch'd, I have a piece of charcoal for you. It's a hold item to be used by fire types as it increases the strength of all fire type moves of the holder, Sumi explained as he handed it to Naruto. The charcoal was a black piece of rock and Naruto handed it to the volcano Pokemon. Quilava sniffed the charcoal briquette before sneezing. So how exactly does this charcoal thing work? Does Quilava eat it or? Sumi thought for a while. Nah, I don't think so. From what I've heard, when the charcoal is worn, the charcoal dust is spread over the Pokemon's skin and then seeps through its pores and goes through the capillaries and flows through the bloodstream where the blood cells excrete the dust as excreted food in the Pokemon's stomach. This dust is then transferred from the stomach to the area of the Pokemon where its fire is produced, Sumi explained. Of course, it's a natural process for fire-type Pokemon, I guess, cause I haven't it happen to any other types. Naruto nodded as he looked at the charcoal, hanging by a tough leather cord. Naruto placed the makeshift necklace around his partner's neck and smirked. It suits you, he complimented, causing Quilava to smile. Oh, and almost forgot. Sumi reached into his pants pocket and pulled out a small disc. Hinata took it and read the engraving on it. HM1 cut, a hidden move disc. Hinata exclaimed. Yeah, that's cut. It's a move used to chop down small trees like that one over there, Sumi said as he pointed over to the small tree in front of them. An old buddy of mine knew the captain of the SS Anne in Vermilion City who owned this HM. After he taught it to his Pokemon, he gave it to me, Sumi said as he grabbed Farfetch'd, who had given up on running. After all, this was its 134th time being caught. See, as Sumi waved goodbye to the 3 trainers before walking off with the flying type. Hinata looked at the HM in her hand before going through her team as she wondered which Pokemon to teach the move to. She took out a Pokeball and opened it. Out came Sentret in a flash of white light. Sentret, the scout Pokemon, looked around before looking up at its trainer. Sentret, the Pokemon, waved. Hinata smiled and held up the disc and placed it in the Pokédex's built-in disk drive. Once the disk drive was closed, the Pokédex spoke. You would like to use the move cut. Hinata clicked the yes option that appeared on the screen using the directional pad. Pokemon have the memory capacity to know only 4 moves. Choose a move you would like Sentret to forget for cut. Sentret's current attacks were Scratch, Fury Swipes, Quick Attack, and Defense Curl. Hinata thought for a while before removing Scratch from her Pokemon's move list. The Pokédex beeped and then released a blue beam that delved deep into the memory area of the brain where Pokemon stored their battle moves. The beam removed Foresight from the memory cells and replaced it with the ability for Sentret to use the HM. Alright, Sentret, use cut on that small tree over there. Hinata pointed at the little tree blocking the path up ahead. Sentret nodded before rushing towards the tree and jumped. Its paws suddenly glowed as its claws appeared and they lengthened. The sharp claws slashed straight through the tree like it were paper, and the small piece of greenery fell to the ground as timber. Sentret, the normal type, smiled at its accomplishment before turning to its trainer. Hinata nodded in acknowledgement. "And nice job," returned she said as the Pokeball released a red beam that sent the small Pokemon back to its ball. The group walked through the space in the trees, but stopped suddenly when they saw a small little house made of wood. It was white on the bottom with two small wooden doors with a red roof of red tiles that looked like an old Japanese dojo building, only much, much smaller. "What's this?" Naruto asked. Hinata went into her bag and took out the guidebook before going through the section of Ilex Forest. As she was looking through the page, there was a shining green light behind them. Holava and Eevee noticed the light as their trainers and Akatsuchi were looking at the guidebook. Holava and Eevee looked at each other and then back at where the light was coming from before it died down. "Quilava," the volcano Pokemon called out, tugging at its trainer's pant leg. "Not now, Quilava," Naruto grumbled, causing Quilava to narrow its eyes before plopping down on the grass with Eevee. Suddenly a small fairy-like creature, a Pokemon most likely, floated above their heads. Its head was shaped like a bulb, light green with a dark green tip. Its body was entirely green. The light green color, like its head, extended down to its chest and arms, while from the middle of its chest down to its legs, it was a dark green color. Deep blue eyes observed the humans as the Pokemon fluttered its wings to remain airborne. Quilava and Eevee looked up at their trainers, but their eyes widened in shock as they saw the small green Pokemon. "Bi, the small little Pokemon whispered, causing everyone to jump in surprise. They looked up, but they saw nothing. Did anyone else hear that?" Naruto asked. Hinata, Akatsuchi, Quilava and Eevee all nodded. "Think it was a ghost?" Akatsuchi asked. Naruto immediately cowered behind Hinata. "A GGG ghost," he stuttered. Hinata looked around before declaring there was nothing there. "Anyways, this appears to be the Ilex Shrine. A small shrine built to worship a Pokemon said to be able to travel through time stream known as Celebi." Everyone looked up from the guidebook and looked to see two girls wearing matching red kimono dresses, but with different patterns. The dresses were patterned with the images of the sky and sea. The girl wearing a dress with the sky pattern had an image of a golden bird that was flying through the clouds, and the girl who wore the kimono with the pattern of the sea, there was the image of a silver-colored vulture-looking creature. The two creatures looked very majestic. "Who are you?" Hinata asked. The kimono girls bowed. "We are just wanderers who walks through the Johto region. We are also looking for our lost sisters. There are 10 of us and we were all separated from each other in our travels during a storm," one kimono girl said. "So what's this talk about a Celebi?" Naruto asked. The two older women chuckled at the blonde's mispronunciation. "We will tell you, if you help out of this forest," the two women said. The group nodded and walked through the forest. The forest was rather small and there was a cleared path that led towards the exit. Along the way, Naruto picked up a few items such as a revive, which would become useful in his battles, a potion and a lost TM12 taunt. Hinata had also used her old rod to fish in the small pond and managed to catch a Poliwag to register its information in the Pokédex as the Pokeball was transported to Professor Iruka's lab, where it would be released into his large backyard until it was to be called upon. Poliwag, the tadpole Pokemon, a water-type Pokemon. The direction of its belly spiral differs by area. The equator is thought to have an effect on this. After about half an hour later, as the trainers had stopped for a while to battle the wild Pokemon in the forest, they found their way out of the forest. The two kimono girls thanked the three trainers. "Domo arigato," they said with simultaneous bows. "Yes, so don't forget you're part of the deal," Akatsuchi said. The two crimson kimono-clad girls nodded. "Hi, will Celebi, not Celebi," the first kimono girl began, giggling as she recalled Naruto's word for Celebi, causing Naruto to scratch the back of his head in embarrassment. "It is the Pokemon that watches over the time stream. It guards this forest and leads those who it deems worthy through the time stream to see a glimpse of their distant future. Of course, it is a legendary Pokemon for a reason. It is rarely seen and some have claimed to have seen the time-traveling Pokemon. But of course no one believed them," the other kimono girl said. Wow, Hinata gaped. "I'll say a Pokemon that can travel through time. That's frickin' unreal," Akatsuchi added. The group exited through the passage to Route 34. "Route 34. Arigato for your help," the first kimono girl said. Then she and her sister walked away. Naruto and Hinata looked up the road and smirked as they saw the towering buildings of Goldenrod City's skyscrapers. "We're almost there, just up this route," Akatsuchi said. "Yup, and then it'll be time to start my next gym battle," Naruto whooped. In my next contest, Hinata twiddled her fingers nervously at the prospect of going up in another contest. Suddenly a voice appeared behind the trio and their Pokémon. So you're a trainer aiming for the Pokémon League, huh? The trio and the two Pokémon yelled in surprise, causing the owner of the new voice to go flying back, anime style, from the volume. Did you guys have to scream so loudly? The man asked as he rose up from his spot on the ground. The two novice trainers and hiker turned to see a tall man, around 6 feet in height, rise up from the ground. He had a mop of gravity-defying silver hair and wore a dark blue band of some sort that was tilted at angles so it covered his left eye. He wore a long-sleeved, navy blue turtleneck with a matching pair of pants. He wore a large green vest which had many pockets over the shirt and wore a pair of black sneakers. And the strangest part of this man's outfit was the weird mask he wore to cover the lower half of his face that seemed to extend upwards from the neck of his turtleneck. Who are you? Who, me? The man asked. Naruto's sweat dropped. No, the Jenger floating behind you, Naruto drawled, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Besides, what the hell is wrong with you? Sneaking up on people you don't even know. The silver-haired man chuckled nervously. Sorry, I was interested when you said you were going to challenge the league, the silver-haired man said. Naruto grinned his trademark foxy grin. Hell yeah, and I'm gonna win it too. Me and Quilava are gonna defeat every trainer we face. We haven't even lost yet. The closest we came to losing was when we were fighting Sasuke, but it came out as a draw, Naruto said. The man nodded as he scratched his head and took out a small orange book. Akatsuchi's eyes widened. Where did you get that? He asked. The man looked up from the book and pointed at it. Oh, this? I got it from a bookstore. I love the Ika series. Me too. I have all the first 3 volumes. The man and Akatsuchi suddenly began chatting about the weird little orange book, or at least that's what the Uzumaki and Hyuga had dubbed the piece of literature. Anyways, the man said as he ended the short talk with the hiker, name's Kakashi Hatake. So how's about a battle against the future champion of Johto? Naruto grinned as he looked at Quilava. The volcano Pokemon's eyes burned with battle lust. Kakashi then looked at Hinata and saw her Eevee jumping up and down. Actually, how's about a double battle? One of my Pokemon versus your Quilava and the girl's Eevee, Kakashi said. Naruto looked at Hinata for confirmation. The pale-eyed girl thought about it, but nodded when she saw how hyper her partner Pokemon was. Alright, let's go, Kakashi said as he threw a Pokeball into the air. In a flash of white light, the Pokeball opened and released the Pokemon. It looked like a large black dog with an orange muzzle. It had 3 arcs of what looked like bone placed across its back. 2 curved horns protruded out of its skull and its crimson eyes shone in its sockets. Its long tail, tipped with what looked like an arrowhead shape, swished behind it. Houndoom, take it easy on them, Kakashi said as he began to read his book. The demon hound-like Pokemon barked in response before rising to its full height. Naruto and Hinata looked over the Pokemon. Houndoom, dark, fire-type Pokemon. Abilities are Early Bird, which allows it to wake up quickly when it falls asleep, and Flash Fire, thus it nullifies my fire-type moves. Naruto gritted his teeth. Why did so many Pokemon have to know Flash Fire? Though he probably forgot he only faced one. That one being Akamaru, Kiba's Growlithe. Nasty plot, Kakashi said. Houndoom suddenly gained a calculating look and a large grin spread across its face. Quilava, quick attack. Naruto commanded. The volcano Pokemon rushed the dual-type Pokemon, but the horned canine released a torrent of flames from its jaws. The flamethrower attack crashed into Quilava, sending it back. Luckily, due to Quilava's non-flammable fur, Quilava didn't sustain much damage. Eevee used Sand Attack to blind it, then used Quick Attack. Hinata commanded. The normal type swiped its tail against the dust, causing the sand to rise up and get in Houndoom's eyes. The canine blinked and rubbed its eyes with its paws before it was suddenly hit in the face from the evolution Pokemon's ramming into it. Quilava, use Quick Attack too, Naruto commanded. It was his only available, non-fire type move besides Smokescreen, and that wouldn't have done much. The volcano Pokemon raced towards the Houndoom and slammed into its side. Flamethrower, Kakashi said lazily. The hound glared at its trainer as if saying, lazy ass bastard. Can't even look up from his pond to watch the Gakis before turning back and releasing the torrent of flames from its jaws. The attack raced towards the 2 Pokemon, but Quilava quickly tucked into a ball. Flames ignited. Use Flame Wheel to take on the fire, Naruto said. Quilava began to roll like a ball as it was encased in fire. The volcano Pokemon crashed into the more powerful fire-type move and began to push back as the flamethrower added to that of the flame wheels. Eevee then rushed towards Houndoom as its partner held off the flamethrower. Eevee, tackle. Via. The evolution Pokemon rushed towards the dark type and jumped into the air for an aerial strike. However, as Eevee jumped into the air and slammed against Houndoom's body, The larger Pokémon, however, shrugged off the attack by ending the flamethrower and striking with its left paw. Eevee was sent flying back, but flipped in midair to land on its feet. Quilava, whose force of resistance had ended, raced towards Houndoom as it still had its flame wheel active. Quilava, stop, Naruto called out. The Pokémon continued to roll however and crashed into Houndoom. The Flash Fire ability suddenly came to life and Quilava's flames were absorbed into Houndoom's body. Alright Houndoom, Dark Pulse, Kakashi said as he closed his book. Houndoom nodded and released a howl. Dark energy built up in its jaws before being released as a large wave of darkness. Quilava and Eevee were struck by the powerful attack and sent flying. That Dark Pulse was so strong Hinata marveled at the canine Pokémon. Quilava and Eevee gritted their teeth as they tried to stand, but failed. Not bad. Blondie, keep notice of the consequences of your moves. You forgot that once the force of flamethrower stopped created a resisting force, that Quilava's flame wheel would begin to move too fast for it to stop. Also this left you and your partner wide open for a counter-attack, so try to come up with counter strategies once your original ones don't work out. And you, Pale Eyes, same thing goes for you, try to come up with counters for your Eevee to use. Also Eevee could use some work in terms of technique. It's too slow at this stage, so make sure it evolves into something that will be useful for your team. You guys got heart, and you have tactic. Both are good qualities in a trainer, but remember that you need to be careful of how you plan things out in a battle in some cases. A good plan can be the difference between life and death. Kakashi touched his covered eye before returning Houndoom to its Pokeball. Kakashi then began to walk off and Naruto and Hinata stood there looking at their downed Pokémon. Remember to look underneath, Kakashi said as he walked off. Kuso the blonde cursed as he punched the ground and glared at the retreating back of the silver-haired man. Come on you two, we'll rest up at the Goldenrod City Pokémon Center once we get there, Akatsuchi advised. Naruto and Hinata didn't answer, but nodded as they rose. They sprayed their Pokémon with a few potions to heal them. I can't believe we lost, Naruto said. Naruto, you're a strong trainer, but remember you're still young. You have a lot to learn and also you're not invincible. There will be times where you will lose, so don't take it too hard, Akatsuchi said. Naruto nodded as he and Hinata walked off with Quilava and Eevee. Akatsuchi sighed as he looked off to the east. I wonder if Onoki saw me like this when I was young. The hiker asked himself as he remembered his old mentor. Once the trio walked for a few more miles, they came to the front of a small house. In front of the house was a large sign saying, Pokémon Daycare. We take care of your Pokémon and make them stronger for a price. The last 3 words were in fine print. Naruto and Hinata looked at the image of the Pokémon egg as the daycare's mascot, and were about to continue onward when they felt their backpacks jump. Huh? The 2 novice trainers looked confused as they felt their backpacks jump again. Akatsuchi, is it just me or does my bag look like it's jumping? Naruto asked the red-clad hiker. The large male nodded. Yeah, I think so, Akatsuchi said. Naruto and Hinata's eyes widened as they opened their backpacks. Eevee, Quilava and Akatsuchi gathered around the 2 trainers as they pulled out the Pokémon eggs they had each gotten from Professor Iruka. And then Naruto-kun, I think they're hatching, Naruto said with glee as he and Hinata opened the cylindrical cases for their Pokémon eggs. They held their eggs as they continued to jump and suddenly their shells burst open at the top, the shell pieces falling to earth like leaves in the wind. Hinata's Pokémon was a small egg-like Pokémon. It had cream-colored skin as its head was similar to that of a spike's eggshells. Also it seemed the Pokémon could retract its body and form an egg shape, as that was how it had looked before it had spread its limbs. Its entire body, minus its head, hands and feet, were colored the same way as the egg. It was a darker cream color with red and blue triangular-shaped markings all over it. Its dark black eyes blinked before the baby Pokémon looked up at Hinata. Toadsprey. The small egg Pokémon released its cry with glee. Hinata took out her lavender-colored Pokédex as it beeped. Toadsby, the spike ball Pokémon, the normal type Pokémon. The shell seems to be filled with joy. It is said that it will share good luck when treated kindly. The Toadsby was a male shown to be at level 5 with its known attacks being only Charm and Growl. Naruto's Pokémon had slithered its way out of the egg shell and snaked its way around his arm before resting its large head on the boy's shoulder. The Pokémon was rather long for a baby Pokémon. Its body was a pale blue with a white underbelly. It had a large, white, oval-shaped nose and a single white dot in the center of its forehead. 2 white fins of some sort grew out from the sides of its head and looked like they were wings as the Pokémon flapped them. Its deep brown eyes blinked as it stared at the blonde sapphire orbs. Drow-tiny eye. The Pokémon squealed as it nuzzled Naruto. The blonde chuckled as he heard his Pokédex beep. He withdrew his bright orange Pokédex and reviewed the information on it. Dratini, the dragon Pokémon. A dragon-type Pokémon. Naruto rolled his eyes. No doubt it's dragon-type if it's called the dragon Pokémon. It is born large to start with. It repeatedly sheds its skin as it steadily grows longer. Dratini was also shown to be a male at level 5 upon the Pokédex's scan of it. Its known attack were Wrap and Twister. Naruto and Hinata looked at their new baby Pokémon before Naruto whipped out his Pokegear and dialed Professor Iruka's number. He put the Pokegear on speaker mode as the young, scar-nosed professor answered. "Hello, Professor Iruka Yumino speaking. Professor, it's me Naruto." The blonde yelled. "I'm here too," Professor Hinata notified the man. Iruka chuckled at the two. "Hey you two, nice to hear from you again. What's with the all excitement? Did Naruto finally stop eating ramen?" Iruka asked, causing Naruto to gasp. "I am hurt, Professor." "To think you would think such a thing," the blonde said, causing those hearing it to laugh. "So what did you call me for?" Iruka asked. "Oh, right, Professor, our eggs hatched. I got a Pokémon called Dratini and Hinata-chan got some weird-looking egg thing. It's called Tojbi." Naruto-kun Hinata giggled. "Ah, well done you two. I knew I could have counted on you two to hatch those eggs and it only took you guys nearly a week." Iruka smiled from his end of the Pokegear. "Well, since Dratini and Tojbi aren't in Pokeballs I cannot receive them. But unless you guys want to keep them for your journeys that is quite fine with me. But just remember to send me a Pokémon so that you only have 6 Pokémon on your person." "Alright Professor, Yani," they said. "Yani, oh and Hinata, good job on the stuttering thing. I can finally understand you," Iruka joked, causing Naruto, Akatsuchi, Quilava and Eevee to snicker as Hinata blushed. "Arigato," she stuttered. Iruka then hung up and Naruto put away his dark blue Pokegear in his vest pocket. "Yada," Naruto cheered as he hugged his snuggling baby dragon type. "With Dratini on my team, nothing's gonna stop us from winning the Silver Conference." "Yeah, but Naruto, remember it's just a baby," Akatsuchi reminded the blonde. Naruto smirked. "So what? Dratini's strong already. Isn't that white-whittled Dratini?" Naruto coddled the little thing, causing it to release a cry in response to its parent. "Togi Togi Tajapuri," Tojbi waved to Dratini, who waved back with its tail. "Quilculavo lava. Oh, you guys wanna see them too?" After a bit of playing with the new baby Pokémon, the two preteens, their starters, and their newest team members headed off towards Goldenrod City and to Naruto's next gym battle and Hinata's next contest. "Guys, wait up," Akatsuchi cried out. Gaius. Character bio, Hinata Hyuga. Eye color, a pale purple that seems to be colorless. Hair color, mixture of blue and black. About. Hinata was born in Saffron City with her father, Hayashi Hyuga, the gym leader of the Saffron City Gym. Pokédex, Scene 42. Caught 38. Naruto's team. Quilava, Pidgeotto, Dratini, Heracross, Wooper, Mareep. Hinata's team. Eevee, Butterfree, Bellsprout, Hoppip, Sentret, Tojbi. The group entered the bustling city and were wide-eyed at the sight. Towering buildings, with a few smaller buildings that were used as houses, many people running back and forth between streets, Pokémon running in order to keep up with some of their trainers. It was really a busy city. "Alright, let's go find the gym," Naruto said. Quilava nodded as it followed its trainer. "Wait, Naruto," Akatsuchi said, causing both fiery souls to pause in their quest for the Goldenrod gym. "Why don't we look for the Pokémon Center first? We'll book a room and then we can go and look for the gym. It would be nice to plan ahead," Hinata added. "Vivi the evolution Pokémon yipped." Naruto and Quilava looked at each other and frowned. Fine lava. Both trainer and Pokémon followed the other two trainers and Eevee as they looked for the Pokémon Center. After a long few minutes, due to the fact that they had to go through a large amount of people rushing to get to their jobs or to the Goldenrod department store, they finally reached the red and white building. It was rather fancy looking too. A red neon sign with the word Pokémon Center in the same color. It was made of pure shatterproof glass, so even before they entered the center they could see inside it. Atop the center's curved roof was a rotating Pokeball. Upon entering the Pokémon Center, the three trainers gaped at the large amount of people already in it. This Pokémon Center was by far the largest one they had ever seen. The group walked towards the nurse Shizune that ran the place and the black-haired woman smiled at them. "Hello there, how may I serve you three today?" Shizune asked. Hello, Hinata greeted. "We would like one room with 3 separate beds, please." Shizune quickly went through the computer and scanned the logging accounts for all those who had ordered rooms. She frowned when she looked back at the 3 and their 2 Pokémon. Gomen Nasai, but it seems that we only have a few rooms with 2 beds. Due to the contest taking place here, many coordinators have already booked rooms. Shizune apologized. So does that mean T200 of us WW will have to share a bed? Hinata turned red at the thought of having to lie next to Naruto. Shizune nodded. Sadly, yes. Alwa man, Naruto said. Well, guess someone's sharing a bed. Akatsuchi narrowed his eyes at the blonde as he noticed the dejected look on Hinata's face. Naruto, listen, here's the deal. You and Hinata share a bed, because I'm obviously too big to sleep on a bed with another person, Akatsuchi explained. Besides, Hinata could always give her nice massages to you. Naruto thought for a while, sleep by himself and get no nice massage from his friend who had the hands of a goddess ... or undergo the opposite. Alright, I'll do it. Come on Hinata-chan, you're sleeping with me, Naruto said. Hinata's eyes widened at Naruto's statement before she fainted at the rush of blood to her face. Naruto quickly caught her and lightly shook her. Og, Hinata-chan. Shizune chuckled and poked Akatsuchi. The large-nosed man turned and grinned at the woman. You're a vile person, you know that. She joked. Alwa, come on. Who can deny the young love? He replied. Once they finished setting up their things in their room, after Hinata woke up, of course, the trio of trainers and 2 starter Pokemon headed for the streets of Goldenrod. Now where's that gym? Naruto asked. Naruto-kun. Hinata poked her index fingers together. Naruto turned and his blue eyes focused on his blue-black-haired friend. Hi, Hinata-chan. I don't think I'll be able to go with you to the gym. I have to go and get some things for Eevee to prepare for the contest. Gomen Nasai, she bowed in apology. Naruto frowned a little. He had really come to like Hinata's presence being there when he went to go battle. It somehow gave him drive, and he couldn't explain how or why. Oh okay, well have fun, he said, putting up a fake smile. Hinata nodded, but looked back at him before running off with Eevee to go look for the department store. I wonder if Naruto-kun is going to be okay, she thought. She had seen through that fake smile the instant he put it up and she felt bad for her blonde travel companion. So what about you, Akatsuchi? Or do you have things to do too? Naruto asked. Akatsuchi nodded. Yeah, sorry pal. I have a friend here and I want to pay her a visit, Akatsuchi said. Naruto grinned widely at that and then raised his pinky. A free, and he drawled out the word to hint at what he was thinking. Akatsuchi blushed at that but shook his head and raised his arms in an X in front of him. Yo, nothing like that, he announced. She's just a good friend. You know that's what they all say, Naruto grinned. Quilava the fire type agreed. Akatsuchi smirked at that. So what about you and Hinata then? You guys are good friends ... Does that mean you two are secretly the rock type trainer? Wiggled his pinky. Naruto's face turned red at that. Huh? What? No. She's a good friend. That's what they all say, Akatsuchi fired back, using Naruto's own quote against him. The blonde turned and glared as he saw his laughing partner roll on the ground in laughter. At 2, Quilava. The volcano Pokemon paused before going back to laughing. Akatsuchi chuckled before ruffling Naruto's already messy hair. Don't worry, Naruto. I'm sure you'll fine. After all, you're the future Johto champion, right? The red-dressed hiker added. Naruto nodded with a foxy grin. Damn straight, come on Quilava. The volcano Pokemon nodded and took off after the blonde as Akatsuchi walked off to look for his friend. The blonde trainer and Quilava had no idea how to get around this large city, so the pair decided to just wing it and look for a giant building that would look like a Pokemon gym. Naruto scanned the city, turning left, right and every which way in order to try and find the Goldenrod City Gym in this large expanse of infrastructure. However, as he was walking he looked to see a man walk out of a rather medium-sized building with a dejected look on his face. Hey, mister, are you okay? Naruto asked. The man sighed and raised the empty suitcase that was in his hand and opened it. I lost nearly all my coins in the Voltorb game in the casino. I'm not going there anymore ... So Blondie, why don't you take it? The man said. Naruto's sweat dropped. Isn't gambling illegal for people under 18 or something? Naruto asked. The man laughed before shoving the coin case in Naruto's hands. Naruto observed the suitcase. It was completely black with a gold handle. It had about 20 or so gold tokens of some kind inside of it, and it seemed to be the size of a large dictionary in terms of length. Nah, don't worry about it. It's just a little card-playing game. Nothing like poker or anything like that, the man assured the blonde trainer. Well, I'm off. Hopefully, you'll do better than I did. See ya, Gaki. Naruto and Quilava watched the man run off before looking at each other. What do you say, Quilava? Wanna take a run at this game before going to the gym? Quilava rose up on its hind legs and so that it could perform a shrugging action. Quilava the volcano Pokemon. What do you mean it doesn't matter? Naruto asked before blinking. I think I'm getting better at understand you. Quilava smiled. Quilava lava Quilava lava lava Quil. I'm not that good, buddy, Naruto said, patting the volcano Pokemon, causing it to narrow its eyes at its trainer. Quilava, the fire type, walked into the casino with Naruto following it, holding the coin case in his hands. Upon entering, Naruto saw that the place was rather decent. A tiled room with a few leather couches here and there, and in the center of the room was an old man wearing a brown suit and fedora sitting at the table. The man was rather old looking as he had a graying mustache and wrinkles on his face. The man was smiling to himself as he tossed a coin up and down in his hands. Naruto walked up to the man at the table. Amamoheo, Mustache-san. I heard this was the place to play the Voltorb flip game. Naruto asked. The man nodded. Yeah, sure, take a seat. Try your luck and maybe you can win something if you get enough points, the man said, not taking his eyes off the coin. Would you mind explaining the rules of this game? The man nodded, still not taking his eyes off the coin. Sure thing. The aim of the game is to flip the cards on the table and avoid getting a Voltorb card. The cards each have points numbers written on them. 1, 2, and 3. If you get a 1, you get 1 point. If you get a 2, you get 2, and if you get 3, you get 3 points. After that, say you have just flipped a 2-point card on your first turn. Depending on the second card you flip, your points will multiple by that number. So say you flip a 2 and you flip a 3 after, you got a total F6 points right there. The more points you have, the better prizes you win. Capiche? Hi. Then let's play ... The man paused as he caught the coin and stared at Naruto, who was ready to play. Hey, you're just a kid? What are you doing in a place of gambling? The man who gave me this coin case said it wasn't really much of a gambling place since all you do is flip cards. Now poker, that is a gambling game, Naruto smirked. The mustached man's eye twitched. You know ... Just because you don't know the game, I'm gonna let this slide. But mark my words, once you run out of coins, in that case you're through, Blondie the Voltorb flip game dealer said. Naruto smirked and Quilava sat up on its hind legs to see its trainer play. The dealer shuffled the cards before setting them out in a 5x5 square. Prepare to lose your coins, sucker. The dealer laughed. 10 minutes later, you cheated. The dealer yelled. Naruto smirked as he tallied up his points to about 500 and bought the Abra from the prize exchange table. Nope, I'm just that good. This was fun, I might come back again. See ya. Mustache-san, Naruto waved as he and Quilava walked out with the psychic-type Pokemon's ball. The Pokédex beeped as it's registered the new data on the Pokémon. Abra, the Psy Pokémon, a psychic-type Pokémon. If it decides to teleport randomly, it evokes the illusion that it has created copies of itself. Once Naruto's little gamble with the mustache card dealer was over, he stored away the coin case in his backpack. Naruto and Quilava continued their search for the gym. He quickly spotted a large tower made of blue-black colored glass, and many satellite dishes and antennae were placed around the majority of the roofs of the tower. Maybe they will know where the gym is, Naruto wondered. Quilava, well, probably is better than nothing at all, Naruto replied to his starter. The fire type and the blonde walked into the tall tower. Hello. Naruto and Quilava stepped back in fright at the sight of a brown-haired woman. She wore a pink dress with an aqua-colored scarf around her neck and pink high heels. Hi, Naruto said nervously. I was wondering where the... Welcome to Goldenrod City Radio Tower. Please come right this way. The woman didn't even give Naruto much of a choice as he was grabbed by his arm and dragged across the floor. Quilava tilted its head in confusion at the behavior of the female human. The two humans and one Pokemon were suddenly placed in front of a desk. The man at the desk sighed as he looked up. Mimi, please tell me you didn't drag another person from outside to take my quiz again. The man asked. Naruto looked at the woman, now identified as Mimi, as she blushed in embarrassment. Well, I might have, she answered, causing the man at the desk to sigh again. Alright, okay, young man. Here's the thing, I'm having a little quiz going on, and if you answer my questions correctly you will win a handy little prize. You have 1 minute to answer each question, the man explained. You up for it? Sure, but after I need to ask you something. The man nodded. Fair enough, now let's begin, the man said as he pulled out a few flashcards from his pocket. What is the evolved form of Bulbasaur? Ivysaur. Obviously, Naruto answered the easy question. The man nodded and switched to the second card. Correct. Next question. Who created the Pokédex? Professor Sarutobi, renowned Pokémon professor from the Kanto region, Naruto replied. Third question. This one is a multiple choice question. Fire beats grass, grass beats water, water beats ground. What does the ground type Pokémon beat? Flying, bug, electric, or ghost? Naruto smirked. Electric. The man nodded before pulling out the card for his fourth question. What rock-type Pokémon move is a move that is able to increase in strength as it repeatedly used? Naruto opened his mouth, but paused as he began to think. Rock type move. Repeatedly used, but it gains power during those repetitions. The man at the desk smirked. The plan always worked, give them a false sense of hope that they could get through the quiz easily, but by the time they reached the end, bam. Drop the tougher questions on them. Naruto's face was scrunched up in thought. 30 seconds, the man stated. Naruto gritted his teeth as he continued to think back to his days that he was taught by Iruka in class. He knew it, the move was on the tip of his tongue. 20 seconds, Naruto pounded his head, but then looked down when he saw Quilava pulling at his pants leg. Quilava curled up into a ball and began to roll around. Naruto smirked. Roll out, he stated. The man smirked. Good, that is the correct answer, the quiz man said before taking out the card for his final, 5th question. There is a legend in Johto concerning the identity of a Pokémon able to travel through time. Few have ever spoken its name. Luckily for you, I know the name of this Pokémon, so I am able to use this question. Now then, what is the name of that Pokémon? Naruto thought again. He remembered back in Ilex Forest when he, Hinata and Akatsuchi had helped the 2 kimono girls. They had talked about such a Pokémon. It was a legendary Pokémon too. Great. I forgot, Naruto thought for a while. His brow began to gain a thin layer of sweat as he continued to rack his brain, looking for the answer within it. You have 10 seconds, the quiz man said. Naruto thought for a while before looking at Quilava. Quilava was lying down on the ground, bored out its mind. Its body was in the shape of a C. Naruto frowned, but then his eyes widened. See, he thought. See, Celebi. That's it. He yelled. It's Celebi. The quiz man nodded as he packed away his cards. Well done. You have passed my quiz. Now as a prize you get this little radio card. Naruto opened his hand to receive the small little chip. What's this do? It allows for you to listen to the radio on your Poke Gear. Just insert it into the same places where you would insert the phone and map cards on your Poke Gear, and ta-da. You'll be able to listen to radio stations from this tower wherever you are, well, except if you are out of range of our frequency, of course. Naruto nodded. Arigato. He inserted the card and his Poke Gear beeped as a wireframe-shaped globe appeared on his Poke Gear's screen. The radio started to play music before he began to hear a familiar voice. Is that Professor Sarutobi? Naruto asked. The quiz man nodded. Hi. The professor does a little poetry here and there, so he comes down to Goldenrod to broadcast them. He also gives little bits of information on Pokémon as well, the man explained as he saw Naruto switch off the radio. Naruto pocketed his Poke Gear before looking up at the man. I almost forgot. Where is the Goldenrod City Gym? Naruto asked. The quiz man looked at the young trainer and his Quilava, who had just woken up after Naruto had yelled out his answer for the Celebi question. Oh yes, right. The gym is near the edge of the city. Just head straight onto the main road and keep going north. You'll reach the gym in no time. It's a big building, so you can't miss it, the quiz man. Naruto thanked the man before running out the door with Quilava. Once they exited the radio tower, the two followed the man's instructions. They walked along the main streets of Goldenrod. It was about noon, so the streets were relatively clearer now due to the lower amounts of people or Pokémon on the street. They continued heading straight up the brick street before stopping when they finally reached the large building. It was rather plain looking. No fancy look like Shino's or Shibai's gym. It looked like a regular 2-story building, painted in a cream color and had a dome-shaped appearance much like the other gyms. On it was the symbol of the Pokémon League, a golden Pokeball with the words Pokémon League written across the halfway mark of the Pokeball. A shiny Pikachu sitting atop the Pokeball and looked as if it were waving due to the arm actually moving side to side. Below the symbol were the words Goldenrod City Gym. Looks like we're here, Naruto said. Quilava, the volcano Pokémon sighed. Both trainer and partner Pokémon entered the large building. The inside was large, just as the two had suspected. However, the layout of the gym was what caught their interest. It was so simple. There was just a regular battle fight, and after seeing Shibai's gym and Azalea, Naruto and Quilava had instantly began expecting pre-challenges before they fought. Hello, Naruto yelled out. The sound of a door opening was heard to Naruto and Quilava's left, and both looked to see a young woman walk out of a door. Her clothing consisted of a dark pink and shoulderless gi-like shirt with loose arm warmers reaching her upper arms and light purple spandex shorts. She also consisted of black low-heeled boots with an olive green tipping. She had 2 simple earrings covered by her hair. She had blue eyes and long red wavy maroon hair, which stretched down to her waist, and fair skin with a beauty mark under the left side of her lip. She looked to be around 19 years old. Yes, the woman asked. Yeah, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I'm here to challenge the gym leader. A challenger and a cute one at that, the woman winked, causing Naruto's face to flush. Cough, yeah, so are you the gym leader? Naruto asked. The woman nodded. That I am the woman said, brushing back her red locks. My name is Fuka, but you can call me Fuka-chan. Naruto blushed once more. This woman. So is there a pre-gym challenge like what Shibai-sen does, or is it a plain battle like with Shino-san? Naruto asked. Fuka shrugged. I don't really care for challenges, so it's a plain battle. 3-on-2 battle. A majority of my challengers tend to fail at beating my second Pokemon, so I like to give them a little chance, Fuka explained. Also, as an added bonus, my challengers get a kiss from yours truly if they win, though I should warn you, Naruto. And Quilava backed up a bit when they saw her hair suddenly flare up and a dark aura surrounded her. I get a bit feisty when I battle. Naruto's eyes hardened as she said that. Bring it on. Ah, a man with no fear. I like that she withdrew a pokeball from within her gi and twirled it on her index finger. Go Clefairy. She threw the pokeball. Naruto looked as a small little fairy Pokemon came out of the pokeball. It was rather large as in fat, with round black eyes. Its mouth contained a few teeth, with 4 sharp canines. On its back was a pair of small wings and a curled-looking tail. Clefairy, normal type. Ability Friend Guard. But that wouldn't do much considering this is a one-on-one. Naruto remembered the information on Clefairy. He took out a pokeball. I wonder if dragon types are as strong as they say. Naruto threw the pokeball and the dragon type appeared in a flash of white light from the red and white sphere. The dragon type cried out. It looked around before spying Naruto and wrapping around his arm and snuggling against him. Oh, but as cute as that is, please get it on the field. Her hair waved around. It reminded Naruto of how his mother's hair split off into 9 tails when she was angry. Dratini, come on the field. Naruto goaded the baby Pokemon. The serpent nodded before crawling off of its parent and onto the field, a fierce gaze in its eyes. I never fought a dragon type, not since the time I tried to take on the champion. You took on him? Naruto asked. Yeah, lost miserably. Both of them knocked out by his weakest Pokemon too. Anyways, let's go, Fuka said as she cracked her fingers. Clefairy double slap. Clefairy rushed forth and lashed out, slapping Dratini multiple times across its face. The dragon type teared up before crying out in anger. It went towards Clefairy and wrapped itself around Clefairy's body and began to squeeze. Yeah, okay, wrap attack works. Naruto scratched his cheek in confusion at Dratini's sudden lapse in behavior. Now use Twister. A large wind circulation system suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The Twister engulfed both Pokemon and Clefairy was sent soaring upwards before being spewed up as it reached the top of the Twister. Clefairy floated down before rolling into a ball as it performed defense curl. Alright, use double slap again, Fuka commanded. The normal type slapped Dratini across the face once, then appeared to the side and slapped it again. Another strike had its cheeks burning from the pain. A fourth and final double slap had it wailing on the ground as it tried to soothe the pain in its cheeks. Dratini, come on. Naruto cheered his newest team member, use Twister. The dragon type nodded and then unleashed the powers of the storm. The giant Twister made its way towards Clefairy. Dodge it and roll on the ground using defense curl, Fuka commanded. Clefairy nodded before rolling along the ground out of the way of the Twister before heading towards the dragon type. Slap it back with your tail, Naruto commanded. Dratini twisted and slapped the rolling pink sphere away from its location and Clefairy flew back. Dratini panted and Naruto could tell that it was already tired. Being a baby Pokemon had its stamina very low, but for a baby Pokemon to last this long meant that it was very strong. Dratini, come back. Dratini nodded before slithering back to its master. Naruto took out another Pokeball and threw it out. Alright, go Heracross. Naruto called out the dual-type Pokemon which landed with a loud slam on the field. Heracross the blue beetle let out a cry as it faced off against Clefairy. Uo, smart move. Alright, Clefairy sing. Aerial Ace, Naruto shouted. Just as the fairy Pokemon was about to sing, Heracross had just about completed the loop-de-loop and crashed into Clefairy. Aw Clefairy, Fuka yelled in alarm at seeing her Pokemon take on the damaging move. I may be young, but I know my way around the battlefield. Sing, a move that prevents a Pokemon from attacking by putting them to sleep. Ways to counter, use speed to reach the Pokemon before it sings or have a Pokemon with insomnia as its ability, Naruto informed his opponent. Alright, Heracross use Brick Break. Heracross's arms glowed white before slamming a powerful punch to the face on Clefairy. Heracross then spun and crashed its elbow into Clefairy's face and then spun around again and caught Clefairy on its horn. Using the horn, it launched the fairy Pokemon into the sky. The horn Pokemon spread its wings and flew up after the pink Pokemon before flipping to build up momentum. Heracross let out a cry before performing a downward chop. The attack crashed down on Clefairy's head, sending it to the ground. Clefairy, the normal type, met the ground with smoke cloud forming upon its contact with it. Heracross landed and smirked as the smoke cleared and revealed a twitching Clefairy. The harsh blows from the fighting type move causing it to faint. "Aye, Clefairy," Fuka cried out in shock. She quickly held up its Pokeball and returned it in a flash of red. "Well, Naruto-kun, you did well. But can you face my final Pokemon?" Fuka threw her Pokeball in the air, and in a flash of white light a large pink cow appeared. It had brown spots on its back, black leathery skin surrounded its face and went along its back. Miltank, the cow Pokemon mood. Another normal type, Heracross Brick Break. The dual type horned Pokemon flew at Miltank and raised its glowing white arm. Heracross flew up into the air before diving down, positioning the arm for Miltank's head. Fuka chuckled at the blatant move. Akatsuchi stated. Heracross and Naruto were shocked when they Miltank raised a hoof and caught the glowing white arm. Heracross redirect, Naruto commanded. Heracross quickly leaped into the air and flipped, lashing out with its foot, catching Miltank in the face before landing on the ground as the Milk Cow Pokemon's grip was loosened. Heracross then spun and landed a powerful uppercut using Brick Break. Miltank fell backwards from the blow. "Nice counter, Miltank. Milk drink," Fuka commanded. Miltank excreted some of its milk and used its healing properties, drinking the milk from its hoof to heal itself. Miltank was then healed before it leaped into the air. "Stomp," Fuka commanded. Heracross dodge, then use Aerial Ace, Naruto commanded. Heracross flew into the air and performed the loop-de-loop, avoiding Miltank as it descended, before diving down, leaving a trail of white behind it. "Miltank, execution by kiss," Fuka commanded. Miltank nodded before holding out its hooves and used its high level of strength to catch Heracross by the horn before swinging the dual type into the ground. Miltank then raised Heracross to eye level and kissed Heracross between the eyes. The male bug, fighting type, suddenly gained hearts in its eyes as Miltank used its variation of attract. Miltank then grabbed Heracross and performed a suplex, causing Heracross to release a cry of pain. "Now throw it sky high and follow up with rollout." Miltank complied with its trainer's command and threw up Heracross. "Heracross fly, spread your wings," Naruto yelled, but he gaped when he saw Heracross' eyes become hearts once more. Miltank then ran forward and curled into a ball before rotating. The rolling pink wheel raced across the battlefield and at just the right moment, struck with the rock-type move. Heracross flew back up before descending in time to be hit by another rollout. As Heracross descended one last time, Miltank used the speed from its rotation to leap into the air, and grabbed Heracross before flipping as the two Pokemon descended. Miltank, the Milk Cow Pokemon, cried out as it slammed Heracross into the ground in a makeshift body slam. Once the small dust cloud that formed cleared, Naruto gritted his teeth as he looked at his twitching Pokemon. The dual type had fainted from the powerful string of blows. Heracross, return. Naruto pulled out his Pokeball and a red stream of light latched onto Heracross, converting it into energy, and then sucking it into the Pokeball. Naruto looked at Dratini, who was now asleep. The young Pokemon was much too tired to fight, so Naruto turned to the only Pokemon able to take on that bovine monstrosity. Quilava, the volcano Pokemon, leaped onto the battlefield, flames ignited. Quick attack. The yellow and blue Pokemon rushed towards the opposing pink one. Miltank, dodge, Fuka ordered. The large pink cow stepped aside, but was caught off guard at the sudden turn that Quilava took and slammed full force into the udder of the Miltank. Miltank skidded backwards from the blow and clutched its udders. Miltank mill. The Pokemon snorted like an angry Tauros and charged. Stomp attack, Fuka cried out. Miltank jumped and descended upon Quilava. Quick attack to dodge and then use Ember. The volcano Pokemon complied and used the upgraded speed from the use of the attack to appear behind Miltank and fire a storm of small fireballs at Miltank. Miltank drop. The Milk Cow Pokemon fell onto its stomach and ducked beneath the fireballs before getting back up and rushing Quilava. Rollout, Fuka cried. Miltank rolled on the ground, becoming the dreaded pink wheel of doom. Quilava, dodge and then use Ember. Quilava performed the act and launched the small fireballs at its opponent, causing the normal type to skid along the battlefield from the blow. Stomp, the red-haired gym leader yelled. Miltank raised its hoof as it reached Quilava and stamped down. Quilava rolled on the ground to avoid before performing quick attack and slammed into Miltank's face. Now flame wheel. Quilava's flames increased in intensity before spinning into a wheel of fire. The fire attack crashed into Miltank, sending the normal type flying. Miltank backflipped and regained its footing. Miltank ran into a rollout attack. Match it with flame wheel, Naruto said. Quilava performed the attack and rushed towards the large cow. Both attacks collided before they separated and clashed again. The clash occurred several times before they finally met at a stalemate in the center of the battlefield. Both Pokémon struggled for dominance, and in an explosion of flame and smoke the struggle ended. Quilava, Miltank, both gym leader and challenger stared at the smoke cloud as the dust began to die down. Once the cloud cleared, Fuka frowned while Naruto gritted his teeth in rage as he saw Quilava panting, its flames outed. The fire type glared at the wheezing Miltank. Miltank, stomp. Use quick attack. Miltank raised its hoof and stamped down on Quilava, causing the fire type to cry out in pain. But it ignited the flames on its head, causing the milk cow Pokémon to back up from the fire before being smacked in the chest by the full body tackle from Quilava. Miltank, execution by kiss. Miltank grabbed Quilava and held it there, grabbing the volcano Pokémon by the side of its head before kissing it on the nose. Quilava's eyes became hearts and the fire type became dazed. No, Quilava, Naruto yelled as he saw Miltank perform a suplex and slam Quilava on its back, earning a cry of pain from the Pokémon. Miltank then performed Stomp, slamming its hoof down on the down starter of the blonde trainer before throwing it upwards. Quilava's flames were out, its eyes closed from the pain. Now roll out, finish it, Fuka cried out. The Miltank nodded as it rolled along the ground to build up some speed before it was to hit the descending Pokémon. Naruto clenched his hands into fists. Quilava flame wheel. Naruto cried out. Quilava's eyes snapped open, the attraction wearing off. Its eyes burned with a fire unlike any other. The flames on its head and rear reignited. The flames were more intense, however. Alright, Blaze ability. Naruto smirked. Quilava rotated and slammed into the rotating pink blob that was Miltank. Flame wheel and rollout collided in a powerful clash, causing a shockwave to reverberate across the battlefield. Both attacks clashed before an explosion resulted. Quilava and Miltank flew back towards their respective trainers before rotating again and heading towards each other. However, due to the larger body mass of Miltank, it was able to hit with a much larger force. After all, force is mass times acceleration. Quilava let out a cry as the super effective attack struck it and it fell to the ground. Miltank stopped rolling and panted, falling onto the ground in exhaustion, exhausted but conscious, which I wish I could say was the same for Quilava. Quilava was unconscious, the flames gone from its head and rear. Bruises and dust covered its body, and the most prominent bruise was shown on its back where the rollout had made its mark. Quilava. Naruto ran towards his starter and clutched it in his arms. His most powerful Pokémon defeated. Hey, Naruto, you still got one Pokémon left, though I doubt Dratini would be able to handle Miltank, Fuka said. Naruto gritted his teeth and bent his head low. He held Quilava close to him before standing up. He recalled Dratini to its Pokeball and turned away from the red-haired gym leader. He unconsciously dug his nails into Quilava's fur out of anger for his own stupidity. He let a young Pokémon fight instead of one of his more experienced Pokémon. He could have sent out Mareep for its static ability, Pidgeotto for its speed, or maybe Wooper for a high defense. But no, he was arrogant and thought that a dragon type would be able to handle it all. He let Heracross become defeated because he underestimated his opponent's Pokémon and his prize Pokémon. His starter, his partner, his friend had went down. He left you and your partner wide open for a counterattack. You're not invincible. Naruto held back the tears as he remembered Kakashi's and Akatsuchi's words to him after his loss to the silver-haired trainer. And then Naruto walked out and turned back to Fuka, saying the two words that one would never have thought to have been uttered by the blonde. I forfeit. Goldenrod City Pokémon Center. After healing his Pokémon, Naruto and Quilava became extremely depressed as they thought about the loss. Quilava's physical wounds were healed ... but the blow to its pride would take more time to heal. Naruto and Quilava entered the room that Akatsuchi and Hinata had booked. The two travel companions smiled at Naruto's entrance. Hey, Naruto, how was the... Akatsuchi paused when he saw the expression on both trainer and Pokémon. Hinata frowned and walked up to the blonde. And Naruto-kun. Naruto didn't reply to the female trainer. He fell onto the bed and Quilava lay down atop its trainer. VERYYYY jumped onto the bed and nudged the larger Pokémon. But Quilava made no effort to respond. Hinata, Akatsuchi spoke, causing both to turn to him. It's obvious what happened. Leave them alone. How's about we go into the cafeteria and something to eat? We'll bring back some ramen for Naruto. The two females looked at their depressed friends, but left the room with Akatsuchi. Hinata glanced back at Naruto as he shifted and hugged his starter. Naruto-kun. Hinata closed the door. Naruto sighed when he heard the door close. Quilava, Quill, the volcano Pokémon replied. Do you think we'll be able to beat that Miltank of hers? Naruto asked. Quilava frowned. I don't know either. Naruto sighed before he and Quilava fell asleep. After a few hours of sleep, Naruto had gotten up to find Akatsuchi and Hinata were still in the cafeteria, so he and his partner decided to take a little walk. Naruto and Quilava looked at the bright lights of the city. Goldenrod certainly was a beautiful sight at night. They admired the large flashing neon signs on some of the buildings and walked into a small diner that allowed Pokémon no bigger than a Miltank to enter. Miltank both thought as they took a seat at one of the booths. A waitress walked up to them and smiled. "Hello, young man. Do you want anything?" the woman asked. Naruto looked over the menu on the table. Just some vegetable fried rice for me. Oh, and if you have extra charcoal or something that is used as fuel for fire, give it to him, Naruto said. The waitress nodded. Vegetable fried rice and charcoal coming up. The waitress relayed the order to herself before leaving. Naruto and Quilava sighed. A set of footsteps paused when they reached the pair's table. You look a bit down. Quilava and Naruto looked up to see the one-eyed trainer. Kakashi, Naruto exclaimed. Kakashi ran his fingers through his hair as he sat down. What are you doing here? I'm going to eat, obviously, Kakashi said as he called over a waiter and ordered his. The waiter left. Kakashi turned back to Naruto. So care to tell me what's on your mind? The silver-haired man asked. Naruto and Quilava looked at each other. We lost, he said. I was overconfident. I underestimated my opponent and I lost. Kakashi nodded. I see. Fuka-chan's Miltank, was it? He asked. Naruto and Quilava nodded. How do you guess? Many trainers who come here often lose to Miltank. Clefairy is easy once you take it down quickly and before it uses metronome. But Miltank is a tough Pokémon. Its strength coupled with the speed brought out during a roller usually takes down most trainers. Kakashi reached over and tapped Naruto on the shoulder. Don't feel bad about it, Kakashi said. Quilava lave. The volcano Pokémon agreed with Kakashi. True, but I let you guys down. I shouldn't have underestimated Miltank. Quilava la. What do you mean it's not my fault? Did you not feel how badly you got hurt out there? Naruto growled at his own Pokémon. Quilava's sharp teeth bit down on Naruto's hand. Quilava lava lav Quilla. Naruto looked down and sighed. Yeah, but, Quill, hey, Quill, let me, Quill, finish Quilava, Quill. Kakashi laughed at the pair before the waiter arrived with their food. Once the waiter left, the conversation resumed. You should listen to your Pokémon, Kakashi stated. Yeah, I know, Naruto said as he stroked Quilava as it ate its charcoal. You are actually one of the few trainers I've met that can actually understand their Pokémon though, Kakashi added. Naruto shrugged. I'm not all that good, though I am getting better if I can understand Quilava to that degree. Naruto grinned sheepishly. The silver-haired trainer nodded. Kakashi, how did you get so strong? The blonde trainer asked. He ate. Kakashi thought for a while. Well, actually I was always a good trainer. After all, my father was a gym leader and I am a member of the Elite Four, Kakashi said. Naruto's eyes widened as he looked at Kakashi. Kakashi Hatake. Wait a minute, Hatake, as in Sakumo Hatake from Vermilion. The White Fang of Kanto, and you're an Elite Four member. The silver-haired man nodded. Yup, too laid back to be an Elite Four, right? Well, I'm just that way. My father was strict, so I became laid back to help relax myself. Sakumo taught me nearly everything I knew. But then as I went out on my journey I met another man. The greatest trainer I had ever met, Kakashi said with a smile. What was his name? Naruto asked. Maybe I can try and find him and he can teach me. Kakashi shook his head. You'll find out soon enough. In fact, you remind me of him as for the second part, sorry. But he disappeared for a while. I tried to find my sensei when he disappeared, but I could never find him. The one-eyed man sighed. Naruto's shoulders fell at that before Kakashi got up and walked over to Naruto and ruffled his hair. Listen here, Naruto, you're a great trainer and I'm sure someone once told you. With losing you can become better at winning. Naruto's eyes widened before narrowing. How do you know my Akatsuchi? Kakashi chuckled. It's kind of obvious you're Kushina-san's son. You both have the same attitude. Well, I'm off. Kakashi glanced back as he secretly placed a note on his plate so Naruto could see it. He'll be a great trainer, just like you, Minato-sensei. Wait, you didn't finish your. Naruto and Quilava gained confused looks as they saw the empty plate. But there was something on the plate, minus the money for the food, of course. Naruto picked up the piece of paper that lay on the plate and raised it up. Route 34 8A, M sharp. Don't be late. In the corner of the note was a small chibi drawing of Kakashi giving a thumbs up, causing both trainer and Pokemon to sweat drop, but then realized what the man was saying. He's going to train us. He turned to Quilava. The two laughed in happiness before running out to the Pokémon Center to go and get a nice rest for tomorrow. For tomorrow, they train with a member of the Elite Four. Beep, 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 beep. Naruto turned in the bed in order to turn off the alarm clock, but suddenly found himself held down by a sudden weight. He looked to see Hinata next to him. Her leg was intertwined with his and she was hugging him like a teddy or a plushie. Naruto blinked as he wondered just what happened. Oh right, me and Hinata had to share the bed and now Naruto's eyes widened and then realized the situation. He suddenly heard a small click. Naruto's head turned slowly as he saw Akatsuchi looking at the camera with a smug look on his face. Akatsuchi then turned around and giggled like a little girl. "Oh boy, so much blackmail material," the rock-type trainer laughed. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the trainer before nudging Quilava, who was on the ground with his free arm as the other was current underneath Hinata's body. "Quilava," Naruto whispered as he poked the fire type. Quilava stirred, but then turned away. Naruto poked it a few more times. Quilava responded and yawned. Quill, the volcano Pokemon, looked up at its trainer as Naruto was on the bed and it was on the floor. "Quilava, I have something important for you to do," Naruto said with utter seriousness. Quilava nodded sleepily. "Akatsuchi has some blackmail material on me and it's on his camera, go destroy it." Quilava nodded before turning. Naruto grinned as he saw the still turned, and still laughing, Akatsuchi. Quilava walked up to Akatsuchi and then tapped the red-wearing hiker on his back. "Huh? Oh hey Quilava, wanna see Naruto and Hinata in a funny picture?" Quilava nodded, still sleepy. Akatsuchi showed the volcano Pokemon the picture, and the crimson eyes of Quilava suddenly shot open. "Quilava!" Naruto cursed as he saw his Pokemon suddenly rolling on the bed laughing with Akatsuchi. A loud ruckus caused Hinata to stir and Naruto cursed again as he saw the girl begin to wake up. He quickly tried to find a way out of the situation. He managed to get his body out of the way and untangle his leg from Hinata's, but froze when he realized his arm was stuck. So Naruto cursed for the third time that morning. He tried to pull it out, but Hinata was surprisingly heavy for such a light appearance. Hinata yawned as she woke up. She raised her body up and Naruto had chosen that time to do a hard pull and suddenly rolled off the bed. Hinata blinked and looked at Naruto when he had fallen off the bed. "Naruto-kun, why are you on the floor?" she asked. Naruto twitched in pain, his senses now aware, and were currently sending impulses that registered for pain to his brain to his pained body parts. "Nothing, Hinata-chan. Just admiring the view from the floor," he grunted in pain as he rose up before turning and glaring at Akatsuchi. "Now as for you, you're dead. Quilava, get that camera." Quilava chuckled some more before pointing at the camera in Akatsuchi's hand. Naruto nodded, but sweat dropped when Quilava smiled widely with an evil glint in its eyes. Quill. Eevee yawned and woke up. "Eevee," it said woozily. Eevee walked over to Quilava and was pulled onto the bed by Akatsuchi and showed the picture. There was a period of stony silence before Eevee burst out laughing. "VERYYYY." The brown and white Pokemon rolled on the bed with a chibified Akatsuchi and Quilava. Hinata turned to Naruto and gained a puzzled look on her face. "Naruto-kun, what's on the camera?" she asked. Naruto blushed at that and coughed. He struggled to find the words, but it was all told with that one picture as Akatsuchi showed the blue black-haired girl the picture. The young Hyuga gasped and her face turned as red as a tomato berry. "Akatsuchi!" The girl screamed before grabbing a pillow and slapped it against the hiker, causing him to fall to the ground. Out of sheer embarrassment, Hinata suddenly broke out into a frenzy and began to mercilessly beat Akatsuchi with the dreaded feather pillow, causing feathers, screams, and laughs to fill the air. The door opened and all activity froze for that moment. Nurse Shizune looked inside and saw Hinata straddling Akatsuchi, a pillow above her head. Feathers fluttered through the air and Quilava, Eevee and Naruto were all hiding their laughter through large grins. I heard a lot of commotion, so I thought I'd check in, and it seems nothing's wrong." Shizune smiled and closed the door. The three trainers and two Pokemon looked at each other before shrugging and the activity resumed. Naruto paused however and glanced at the clock. It was 7:55 a.m. I think I had something to do," Naruto thought before looking at a little piece of paper on the nearby side eatable by the bed. He walked over to it and looked at it. Naruto's eyes widened and he looked at Quilava. "Quilava, we have to go to Route 34, we have training with Kakashi." Quilava's eyes widened and let out a cry of surprise. Naruto quickly grabbed his backpack containing his washed clothes, thanks to the Pokémon Center's built-in laundry room in the basement, and jumped into the shower. In a surprising 3 minutes, Naruto had already showered and was currently in the middle of brushing his teeth. Once that was done, he shook whatever remaining water from his hair before turning to the confused Hinata, Akatsuchi, and Eevee. "Gotta go, Hinata-chan. Akatsuchi, watch after her, and Eevee for me," Naruto said before dashing out the door with Quilava. A small trail of dust followed the pair's path. Hinata got up and dropped the pillow on Akatsuchi's face, causing him to utter a now muffled groan. Hinata took the camera and deleted every single picture, well, all but one she had really liked. Naruto was hugging her back in this picture and he looked so cute sleeping. She giggled with fangirl glee as she left the picture and returned to the camera's home screen. "Awa Hinata, you're no fun," Akatsuchi groaned as he had seen Hinata delete all the pictures. That W wasn't nice. She stuttered from embarrassment before going in the shower so that she would get ready to train for contest the next day. Route 34. Naruto and Quilava panted in exertion as they stopped in front of the sign that labeled Route 34. Naruto glanced at his poke gear. 805 Kyuso. I hope Kakashi won't get mad, the blonde thought. However, as Naruto and Quilava sat down against a rock, they realized something was missing from this picture. "I don't know, maybe he's hiding somewhere waiting to come out and scare us," Naruto replied to his Pokemon's question. Quilava lay down and closed its eyes for a bit of rest. Naruto sighed and then waited for his new teacher to arrive. Half an hour later. "Ah, where is that silver-haired team?" Naruto roared. Quilava blinked as it was now awake from its trainer's outburst. "Yo, Naruto," and Quilava turned around and saw the silver-haired Elite Four member. "Kakashi, you're late," Naruto growled. Kakashi waved his hand. "Gomen Nasai, I was helping this old lady cross the street after a pair of wild Spearow were attacking her for her bread." Naruto and Quilava stared at the man. "Really, that's the best you can come up with?" he asked. Kakashi chuckled nervously. "Kyuso, Obaido, your lies suck," Kakashi thought before becoming serious. "Alright, enough joking. Show me your entire team." Naruto nodded and pulled out 5 Pokeballs and tossed them into the air. In a bright flash of white, Heracross, Pidgeotto, Mareep, Dratini and Wooper all appeared. Kakashi nodded in approval. "I see, very balanced team," Kakashi commented, earning a grin from the blonde trainer. "But you might want to not put Dratini in a battle this soon. It's still a baby after all." "Well, it handled Clefairy just fine yesterday. Its stamina is just a bit low is all," Naruto huffed. Kakashi sighed. "True, dragon type are strong, but your Dratini is much too weak. I would suggest giving it to the daycare center for a while before withdrawing it. Until then, I'd suggest getting another Pokemon for the team." Naruto looked at the young dragon as it watched him. He really couldn't admit it, but Kakashi was right. Guess that's why he's an Elite Four member. However, your Pokemon and you as well, you will all perform some basic warm-up exercises. "Why do I have to train?" Naruto asked. "A trainer must be willing to work alongside their Pokemon in order to build up team-building skills. Also, your Pokemon will like you better if you run alongside them." He pointed to the team of 6, and Naruto sweat dropped as he saw their grins at having to not be the only ones to train. "Now then, this path is about 5 kilometers from here to the edge of Goldenrod. You and your team are to go from here and back 30 times, as fast as you can. After that they will train with my Pokemon and you will be doing your own physical training as well as some reading." Kakashi reached into a sack he pulled out of nowhere and dumped it on the ground, revealing some textbooks. Pokemon: The Legends of the Past. Johto Region History. Naruto looked at 2 of the books. "Why are giving me these to read?" "Something tells me that you will be granted the right to see something that mortal eyes barely gaze upon in their lifetimes," Kakashi said. "I want you to prepare for that." Naruto shrugged and complied with Kakashi's wishes, and the group of 7 raced off while Kakashi pulled a little orange book out of his pocket while releasing a perverted giggle. Jiraiya-sama, you genius you. With Hinata. Hinata had gone to Route 35 to train her Pokemon for the upcoming contests. Her team was doing pretty well and she had just finished a few routines with Eevee, Butterfree and Bellsprout, and was about to go on to Hop-Up. However, before she could continue, Hinata heard a rustling in the grass and out popped a little blue rodent-looking Pokemon, a female Nidoran. Hinata studied the Pokemon and she deduced it was wild due to the fact that it was avoiding all the trainers along the trail like the plague. "I'm gonna catch it," the girl thought confidently. Hinata overlooked her team and looked and Sentret, up for a little battle with a new potential team member. The normal grinned. Sentret, it bounced on its tail up to its trainer's side. The rest of the pale-eyed girl's team observed as the 2 ran towards the Nidoran. The poison type turned and bared its teeth in what it thought was a scary manner. However, Sentret was not afraid and jumped into the air and descended with a prepared scratch attack. Nidoran jumped out of the way and puffed out its body. The point suddenly shifted in Sentret's direction and a storm of purple needles flew from the points on Nidoran's body. Sentret blocked the poison sting with fury swipes. Sentret's claws extended and the Sentry Pokemon slashed at all the needles with a flurry of motion that sent them all clattering to the ground. However, a few poison needles broke through and impaled the brown-colored Pokemon in the chest, causing it grit its teeth in pain. Use Defense Curl and roll towards it to build up momentum. Then jump and slam down with your tail. Sentret complied and rolled into a ball and rolled towards the Nidoran. The rodent hissed as it dodged, only for Sentret to suddenly turn and perform a flip, crashing its tail down on Nidoran's head. Now use cut. Sentret slashed with its claws across Nidoran's face, leaving a trio of red scars on its cheek as the cut bled slightly. Nidoran turned and then performed a tackle attack, sending Sentret backwards before turning and lashing out with its two back feet. The double kick slammed into Sentret's face, causing the normal type to stumble backwards. Come on Sentret, power through, Hinata encouraged. Sentret rubbed its face only for a barrage of poison sting needles to impale its body and cause it to stiffen in pain as the poison seeped into its body. Sentret felt woozy and struggled to stay upright. Come on Sentret, the free sprout, hop hop, Tajipi Tajiprai. The other Pokémon cried in support of their team member. Sentret shook its head and glared at the blue rodent as it rushed towards it. Sentret spun and lashed out with its tail, slapping it across Nidoran's face before performing a cut attack in the form of a brutal right hook. A gaping slash formed on Nidoran's side before Sentret opened its mouth. Alright, Sentret, let's try out that TM move I gave you. Sentret nodded and a golden-orange sphere formed in Sentret's mouth. Hyper Beam. The beam rushed forth from Sentret's mouth. Though due to Sentret's weakened state and the fact that it was at a low level, the attack was not as powerful as an original Hyper Beam would be, but it did the job. Nidoran was sent flying through the air and landed at the foot of a tree. Hinata pelted a Pokeball and smirked as the Pokeball shook 1, 2, 3 times. An audible click was heard and Eevee ran up and slapped the ball back to its trainer using its tail. VERYYYY, Eevee commented. Hinata caught the ball and smirked as her Pokédex released a beep as it recorded the information of the newly caught Pokémon. Nidoran, the Poison Pin Pokémon, a Poison-type Pokémon. Although not very combative, it will torment its foes with poison spikes if it is threatened in any way. And true to its word, Hinata said as she raised her Pokeball to return her now poisoned Pokémon, a result of the poison sting. Also, there was a small gash made by the horn on Nidoran's head, and it is said that even a tiny scratch from the horn could cause a poison status. Sentret fell to the ground, causing Hinata and her team to gasp in shock as it suddenly became enveloped in white light. The light died down to reveal Sentret's new form. The body was much longer and thinner than it was previously. Its brown eyes were very large, along with its now pointed ears and a busy tail. The top half of its body from the head to the waist was a chocolate brown color, the underside being a cream color. From the waist to the tail were alternating bands of cream and white fur. 2 stripes of brown gave the appearance of whiskers. It reminded Hinata of Naruto upon seeing those markings. It had 2 longer but still short limbs. Furet, the Pokémon purred. Hinata's Pokédex beeped. Furet, the long body Pokémon, a normal type Pokémon. It makes a nest to suit its long and skinny body. The nest is impossible for other Pokémon to enter. Why you evolved? Hinata gaped as Furet overlooked its new body, and then ran swiftly to Hinata and the others. Hinata bent down and grinned widely. You evolved. She hugged the living daylights out of her new Pokémon and Furet licked Hinata's cheek. Furet smiled. Good job on the Hyper Beam. Furet puffed its chest out proudly, and then she felt a weight vanish from her hand. The Pokeball containing Nidoran had vanished to go to Professor Iruka's lab. Maybe I should make it a team member, Hinata thought. However, her thoughts were ruined when she heard a pair of familiar voices calling out to her. Hinata. Hinata turned to see who had called her. Her pale eye widened and she grinned at seeing the two. Ino-san, Sakura-san. Hinata waved them over. The 2 rivals stopped in front of Hinata. Chikorita and Sunkern were resting atop their partner's head and shoulder, respectively, and smiled at her. Hey, Hinata. We had just come to get some training in for the contest, Sakura said. Hinata nodded. I had just started my training. I caught a Nidoran too. Hinata raised her Pokédex displaying the information on it. Sugoi, Ino and Sakura looked at the little poison type, but then they took note of Hinata's Pokémon before them. Awa, what a cute little Togepi. I've read about these. Sakura bent down to the little Pokémon's height. Hinata raised the little baby Pokémon as it cuddled against its parent. Yeah, he hatched from the Pokémon egg Professor Iruka had given me, Hinata said. Ino and Sakura's eyes widened. Nani? Hi, he gave me in Naruto-kun an egg. He hypothesized how eggs would hatch if taken around instead of being cooped up in the lab, so he gave them to Naruto-kun and I, Hinata explained. So, Naruto got an egg too? Ino asked. Hinata nodded. Hi. A Dratini is what it hatched into. Ino and Sakura gaped at the prospect of Naruto having a rare dragon-type Pokémon on his team. That's not fair. Why does the blonde Baka get an egg and I don't? The blonde huffed. Ino ... You do realize you're a blonde too, right? Sakura deadpan, causing Ino to go into rage mode and noogie her pink-haired friend. Urusai. Ino roared, causing all the Pokémon and Hinata to sweat drop at the scene. Ferret? I really don't know why, Hinata replied. Tojbi whimpered a bit before delving deep into Hinata's bosom to hide from the angry females. Once the little brawl was over, Sakura noticed the ferret. Sugoi, Hinata, you got a ferret? Ino asked, noticing the long-body Pokémon. Hinata nodded. It just evolved after I caught the Nidoran, she informed them. Ino and Sakura nodded. So where are Choji-san, Shikamaru-san and Sasuke-san? Hinata asked. Those two slackers are off somewhere trying to find a good place to eat, Ino sighed. Sakura giggled at her best friend. Sasuke-kun went to go and do some training before he wanted to challenge the gym leader. Hinata nodded. And what? Did he win? She asked. Sakura shrugged. I actually don't know, he just went, she explained. By the way, is Naruto doing okay? Yeah, the dope seemed to be doing well for himself last time we saw him in Violet. He's not bothering you much, is he? Hinata giggled. No, not at all. Though he did go to do some training with Kakashi Hatake this morning. He had lost his gym battle yesterday against Fuka-san. Sakura and Ino frowned at that. Well, knowing him, he must have taken that loss pretty hard, Ino said. Hinata nodded, but then they were surprised by Sakura's sudden outburst. Wait, did you just say Kakashi Hatake? The pink-haired girl yelled. Hinata nodded and she tilted her head to the side in confusion. Hi, why? Is something wrong with Kakashi? Hinata asked. Sakura gaped and looked at Ino, who also sported a clueless look. You two are kidding, right? You've never heard of Kakashi Hatake? Ino and Hinata shook their heads. He's a strong trainer. That much we were able to tell from how he beat Naruto-kun and I so easily. Sakura gaped. Well, no wonder Kakashi Hatake is a member of the Elite Four of Johto. Hinata looked down at her team of Pokemon and a stony silence filled the air before their eyes bugged out of their heads as they looked at Sakura. Really? Ino yelled. Hinata reached into her bag and pulled out her guidebook. She flipped through it before reaching a page. I wondered why that name was so familiar, Hinata muttered. Kakashi Hatake, son of Sakumo Hatake, the gym leader of Vermilion City and the White Fang of Kanto. He is from Vermilion City and is said to be the most powerful of the Elite Four, being its fourth member. His team consists of dark types, but he is also said to have some other types in his party at times so that his team isn't consistent. Though his partner Pokemon is known to be a Houndoom. People have asked why he has his left eye covered, but he never replied to that question. He stated how it was something too complicated to explain. But one interviewer had noticed a piece of what appeared to be a scar from beneath the eye patch. Hinata read. There was another period of silence before the pale-eyed girl put away the book and the rest of her Pokemon, except Eevee, in their Pokeballs, and Hinata's stomach suddenly released a growl. Sakura, Ino, Chikorita, Sunken and Eevee all laughed. Come on, we'll treat you to lunch and take you shopping, Ino said. Hinata shook her head. No, please, I couldn't. Don't be so modest, Hinata. Besides, think of it as a little present from us as congratulations for getting over your stuttering. Finally, Sakura grinned. Hinata sighed in defeat. I yield. The Hyuga bent her head low. Ino and Sakura squealed before dragging Hinata off. The lunch was nice, in which they had found this place run by Choji's uncle, a BBQ place. The three girls had met Shikamaru and Choji there. Stantler was lazing with its partner in Choji's Caterpie, which had evolved into a strong-looking Butterfree, was chowing down on some Pokemon food. After a bit of talking, the blonde and Pinkette dragged Hinata off to do a bit of shopping, which wasn't really done much by the pale-eyed girl as she just watched Sakura and Ino pull out different kinds of clothes. Hinata's poke ear began to ring. Hinata put away the book she had bought, titled Legend of the Silver Wing, before pulling out the purple-colored device. Hello, she answered. Hinata-chan. Hinata recognized that voice immediately. Hi, Naruto-kun. I just finished my training with Kakashi-sensei a few hours ago, and I already called Akatsuchi. I'm going to challenge Fuka to another battle. Think you can come? Naruto asked. Hinata looked up and suddenly backed up when she saw Ino and Sakura leaning near her in an effort to listen to the conversation. Sounds like Naruto really wants you there. Ino wiggled her eyebrows, causing Hinata to blush at what Ino was getting at. HMPH, I'm kind of insulted that he got over me so quickly though. I mean, how can you not like this? Sakura gestured to her body. Ino and Hinata blinked. She was almost as flat as a board. If it weren't for her cups and that slight curvature at the hips in her rear, people could mistake her for driftwood. Hi, I can come, Naruto-kun. Just finishing up some shopping with Ino-san and Sakura-san, she explained. Oh, Sakura-chan's there. Tell her I'm considering what she told me back in Violet City. She'll know what it means. And tell Ino I said hi. See you at the gym. Naruto hung up. Hinata did the same. Eevee jumped off of her lap and Hinata stood up. Sue, what'd he say? Ino grinned. He said to tell you hi, and Sakura-san, he said something about he's considering what you told him in Violet City. Hinata said with a quizzical look on her face. Sakura's eyes widened at that. He is, she gaped and then pulled Ino aside. Well Hinata, you should go to the gym. Shoo shoo, she made the motion with her hands. Hinata, still puzzled, walked off and headed for the Goldenrod gym. What Naruto-kun saw in her, I will never know, she thought. Sakura then looked at Ino. I can't believe it, she exclaimed. Ino tilted her head. Believe what? Well, back in Violet, during the contest I had told Naruto how that I would never be his girlfriend. And how we cold settle for just being friends. Ino nodded. Well, after that I had said how that he could find someone else, and I motioned to Hinata. Sakura made the motions as she explained what happened, and Ino gaped at what Naruto's message had meant. No way Naruto, he. Sakura nodded. Ino grinned evilly. Oh, I am so going to tease that boy for this. Goldenrod City Gym. Naruto and Quilava waited in front of the gym with Akatsuchi and Kakashi, pacing back and forth in front of the gym doors. Where is she? Naruto wondered. Calm down, Naruto. I'm sure your little girlfriend will show up, Kakashi said in a bored tone. Naruto glared daggers at the one-eyed man. She's not my girlfriend, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto yelled. Kakashi waved the blonde off before the gym doors opened. The three people and one Pokemon turned, and Naruto and Quilava glared as Sasuke and a tired-looking crocodile walked out of the gym. Team Dope. Kakashi sighed as he looked up from his book and noticed the looks the two were giving each other, the anime lightning sparking between them. So did you beat her? Naruto asked. Sasuke looked down at Crocodile. No, Naruto nodded, causing Sasuke to raise his eyebrow in confusion. What? No laugh, no insult, Sasuke asked, not expecting the calm response. I lost to her too, team. That Miltank of hers is like a Gyarados using rage. So you lost too then, Hadobe? Sasuke said. Naruto gritted his teeth and nodded. I pushed my Pokemon too hard and I lost. Sasuke nodded before walking off. Know your limits, Dobe, Sasuke advised before walking off. Naruto watched as Sasuke and Crocodile walked off, causing the blonde to chuckle lightly. You have a stupid way of giving advice. Team Kakashi smirked beneath his mask at the exchange of words. Bitter rivals, yet there was a friendship somewhere in there. A few seconds later, Hinata and Eevee came running up. Naruto-kun, were you waiting long? She asked, panting to catch her breath. Naruto shook his head. Nah, come on. I'm gonna kick Fuka-chan's ass now, Naruto said. Akatsuchi and Kakashi entered the gym and saw Fuka by the healing device in the corner of the room. Hinata, Naruto, and their partners entering after. Kakashi and Akatsuchi tilted their heads for a better view. I'd like to do something else to that ass, the two grown men thought with perverted giggles, causing Quilava to release twin balls of flame at them. Kakashi and Akatsuchi yelped before glaring at the volcano Pokemon, which grinned in return. Fuka turned and smiled as she saw Naruto. Ah, Naruto-kun, you're back, Fuka smiled. Naruto nodded. Hell yeah, and I'm gonna win this time. Fuka looked up from Naruto and spied Kakashi. Kakashi-san, an honor to have you here. Kakashi grinned beneath his face mask. No problem, Fuka-chan, the silver-haired man said. The group took their places on the stands while Naruto and Quilava stood at the challenger's side. Same rules as yesterday, okay. Naruto grinned. Fuka grinned back as they both drew their pokeballs. Clefairy, go Flaffy. Hinata and Akatsuchi gaped as they saw the bipedal sheep. It was pink, with white wool atop its head and around its neck. Its feet were a white color and there were two black stripes along its tail. The tail was tipped with a blue sphere, much like the yellow one it had when it was a Mareep, only bigger. Its blue eyes glared at the normal type. Flaffy, then. Is Mareep evolved? Akatsuchi finished Hinata's statement. Kakashi nodded. Not much training took to evolve it since it was already close to doing so. Flashback. The great ball clicked as the male Nidoran was caught. Alright, that's another one for the Pokédex. Naruto smirked as he watched the sphere vanish in a flash of white light. His orange Pokédex beeped. Nidoran, the poison pin Pokémon. A poison type Pokémon. It raises its big ears to check its surroundings. It will strike first if it senses any danger. Alright, Naruto. Breaks over back to training, Kakashi said as his Murkrow landed on his shoulder. Naruto nodded and he got ready to fight. Mareep, Akuzo. Naruto told his electric type. The Pokemon charged for a tackle attack. But Murkrow flew out of the way and countered with a wing attack, sending Mareep to the ground. Mareep rolled with the attack and got back on its feet. Come on Mareep, Thundershock. The wool Pokemon released a bolt of blue lightning from its body. Kakashi's Murkrow avoided the attack before diving down and vanished from Mareep's sight before crashing into the side of its body, sending it rolling along the ground. Still too slow. You'll never keep up against Murkrow's faint attack like that, Kakashi said as he turned another page in his book. Mareep jumped and performed a tackle attack, but Murkrow barrel rolled to avoid it. but was caught off guard by the sudden twist and was slapped by its tail against its beak. Mareep then crashed down on Murkrow's body before releasing a powerful thundershock. Murkrow sparked with blue electricity and smirked before as it used wing attack to push the wool Pokemon off of its body. Well done, Flaffy, Naruto smirked. Kakashi's single eye observed the change as Mareep became enveloped in white light. Once the change was complete, the newly formed Flaffy released a powerful thundershock that was now much faster than before. Murkrow was barely able to avoid it. He foresaw its evolution a few seconds before it even happened, Kakashi murmured. Naruto opened his Pokédex to view Flaffy's data. Flaffy the wool Pokemon, an electric-type Pokemon and the evolved form of Mareep. Its fluffy fleece easily stores electricity. Its rubbery hide keeps it from being electrocuted. Naruto hugged his new Pokemon. We're going to win against Fuka for sure, Kakashi chuckled at the blonde's words. So much like his parents. End flashback. Thundershock. Flaffy released a bolt of blue electricity from its body towards Clefairy, but the smaller Pokemon avoided the attack before it rushed forth. Double slap. Fuka commanded. Flaffy's face turned red from the pain as it was slapped 1, 2, 3, 4 times across the face. Now pound. Clefairy raised its fist and punched Flaffy against the left cheek, sending it skidding backwards. Tackle, Naruto ordered. The pink-colored sheep crashed into Clefairy's body and was sent reeling back from the blow. Now wrap your tail around its ankle and trip it. Flaffy did so and Clefairy fell on the ground. But as it fell, it went into a defense curl and rolled back before popping back up and shook its hands side to side. A blue outline surrounded them. Metronome. Naruto cursed. Flaffy, quick thundershock. Flaffy released a blue bolt of lightning. Clefairy released a cry of pain as the attack struck, causing it to fall to one knee. The pink-colored Pokemon gritted its teeth before standing back up and then held out its hands. A swirling mass of darkness and shadow fused into a single sphere. The shadow ball was released and struck Flaffy in the stomach, sending it flying back. Flaffy flipped and landed on its feet before rolling out of the way as Clefairy descended, forming a small dust cloud where its fist hit. Tackle. Flaffy crashed into Clefairy's body before twisting and slamming its tail against its body. Clefairy skidded backwards. Thundershock. Flaffy released a cry before it released the electrical discharge from its body. The lightning bolt crashed down on Clefairy. Clefairy panted. Metronome. Clefairy wiggled its fingers and then released a stream of fire. Flamethrower. Naruto gaped as he watched the powerful fire move. Flaffy quickly jumped to avoid it before Clefairy met it in midair. Keep up, hose, Metronome's Fuka told her Pokemon. Clefairy's fingers gained the pale blue glow before it suddenly released a blast of pressurized water. That was Hydro Pump. Hinata gasped. The second most powerful water-type move known to the Pokemon world, second only to the legendary move, Hydro Cannon. Flaffy crashed down on the ground before Clefairy performed Mega Punch and slammed the fist down on the wool Pokemon's stomach. The wind was knocked out of the electric type's lungs before it was sent flying by a powerful dark pulse attack. Naruto gritted his teeth. Flaffy. Naruto paused. Flashback. Know your limits, Dobe Sasuke advised before walking off. End flashback. Naruto took out Flaffy's Pokeball and recalled it before pulling out another Pokeball. Heracross. Naruto threw the Pokeball into the air, releasing the dual-type Pokemon. Fuka gritted her teeth at that. Puso. Clefairy, use Metronome. Fuka commanded. Clefairy nodded and then it glowed white as it used Recover. Clefairy clenched its tiny hands into what seemed to be a fist. Fari. The Pokemon cried out before rushing towards Heracross with a quick attack it performed using Metronome. Naruto and Heracross looked at each other, both with confident smirks. Naruto nodded. Heracross' smile grew larger before it raised its arm, now glowing white, and punched the earth. A large shockwave raced out from the punch and slammed into Clefairy's body, sending it flying. Now Aerial Ace. Heracross went into a loop-de-loop and crashed into Clefairy's body, ending it to the ground. Now finish it with Brick Break. Clefairy, quick Metronome. Fuka commanded. The fighting type move crashed down, but not on Clefairy. Ooh, so close. Naruto-kun. Fuka mocked the blonde. The blonde glared at the red head as Heracross' fist was held back by a green dome of energy. Clefairy had used Protect. You got lucky, Naruto delcared. Heracross, Brick Break. Tira. Heracross raised its arms, cross. Both glowing arms slammed down on the still active shield and Clefairy began to sweat slightly as Heracross kept up the barrage of attacks. Night Slash. Heracross' left arm became shrouded in darkness before smashing straight through the energy shield. Fuka gasped while the others cheered for the blonde trainer and his Pokemon. Yeah, Naruto. Akatsuchi yelled. Now finish it. Hinata told her crush. Naruto nodded. Brick Break. Heracross landed on the ground and unleashed a combo of moves on Clefairy. A right hook landed against the normal type's jaw before the dual type twisted and slammed a powerful elbow to the stomach. Heracross then went onto its claws and spun, lashing out with a devastating spin kick before bending its elbows and pushing up. Heracross flipped in midair and pulled both arms back. Heracross, the horned Pokémon, slammed both arms down on Clefairy's body, causing a large shockwave to result along with a smoke cloud. The dust cleared to reveal the knocked-out Clefairy and a smirking Heracross. It's to be expected, Fuka shrugged, but she still felt sorry for her Pokémon. You did well, Clefairy. Miltank, let's go. Naruto and Heracross glared at the powerful bovine Pokémon. Miltank smirked at the dual type and made a come motion with its hoof. Naruto, don't fall for that. Heracross brick break. Taunt. Kakashi sweat dropped as Heracross rushed the milk cow Pokémon. Miltank, stomp. Fuka commanded. Heracross pulled back a glowing arm and let it fly, but gaped when Miltank used its surprising speed to avoid the blow using a mere twist to the left. Miltank then spun and crashed its left hoof against the bug, fighting type's back, sending it to the ground. Stomp again, Fuka ordered. Miltank, the cow cried out before planting its foot down on Heracross' back again. Heracross quickly rolled out of the way of the third stomp and then performed a cat spring. Night Slash. As Heracross landed on its feet, the Dark-type move slammed against Miltank's cheek, sending the bovine skidding backwards. Miltank then rolled with the momentum and went into a rollout. Stop it with Brick Break, Naruto commanded. Heracross crashed the Fighting-type move against the rotating normal type, but the move had little effect as it hit the wheel of Pink Terror and sent Heracross flying. Miltank then jumped after it and hugged the horned Pokémon. Execution by Kiss. Fuka winked. Miltank grinned and kissed Heracross, causing its eyes to become hearts. Fuso, the blonde trainer, cried out as Heracross was thrown down. Once it impacted with the floor of the gym, Miltank landed, simultaneously performing a rollout so that Miltank began to grind into Heracross' exoskeleton-covered stomach. Heracross coughed and released a cry of pain from the attack. Miltank then rolled off before crashing another rollout against Heracross' body, sending the dual type soaring and landing at Naruto's feet. Heracross gritted its teeth as it aimed to stand before falling to the ground. Cruos, the Pokémon, moaned as swirls appeared in its eyes. You did good, buddy. Naruto smirked at his Pokémon. He glared at the Miltank and watched as it turned its back on him. However, his sapphire orb spied something on Miltank's back. On the middle of its back, near the largest spot, there was a purple spot. Is that a bruise? Naruto mumbled to himself. He smirked. Take advantage of your opponent's weaknesses. Never let an opportunity slip away. That is what his mother would tell him sometimes. Naruto withdrew Flaffy's Pokeball. Go Flaffy. Naruto sent out the wool Pokémon. Let's this thing rolling. Roll out, Miltank. Fuka said, pun intended. Miltank curled into a ball and rolled towards Flaffy. Flaffy, jump out of the way, Naruto commanded. Flaffy jumped into the air and Miltank skidded to a halt. Now use Thunder Wave. Fuka's eyes widened at what her opponent was trying to do. No, she thought. Miltank, use Defense Curl to help you roll away. Miltank complied and avoided the wave of lightning. Naruto gritted his teeth. Tackle. The attack struck Miltank's udders, causing the Pokémon to moo in pain. Fuka smirked. Execution by Kiss. Fuka commanded. Miltank grabbed Flaffy and kissed the opposing Pokémon on the cheek before performing a suplex and slammed Flaffy on the ground. The milk cow Pokémon stomped a hoof down on Flaffy's down body before throwing it high into the air. Roll out, Fuka commanded. Naruto watched as Flaffy fell towards the rotating wheel of Pink Terror and then smirked. What's so funny? The redhead growled. Naruto chuckled at the older woman's reaction. Just that, you're about to meet execution by thunder. Naruto grinned widely. Fuka looked confused before seeing Flaffy's form. The Pokémon was smirking as it fell. Oh crap. Flaffy then flipped and charged an insane amount of electricity into the orb on its tail, and crashed it down on Miltank's form. Now Thundershock. Flaffy. Flaffy released a flash of blue lightning that seemed to blind everyone present before dying down. Miltank gritted its teeth as Flaffy jumped off. Miltank's body was surrounded by electrical charge. Flaffy, Thundershock again, Naruto commanded. Miltank, dodge and use Milk Drink. Miltank avoided the bolt of lightning before excreting the milk. Naruto, stop her before she drinks the milk, Kakashi ordered. Naruto quickly told Flaffy to perform another electric attack, but it was too late. Miltank swallowed the milk and with its rejuvenation came its enhanced abilities. Naruto and Flaffy gritted their teeth as Miltank jumped out of the way. Now roll out, Fuka commanded. Miltank rolled forth and crashed against Flaffy's form, sending it flying. Miltank quickly recovered and turned around and slammed into Flaffy again, but this time with more force due to the momentum building up with rollout's consistent use. Naruto cursed as he saw Flaffy descend, a look of pain on its face as it was struck by a third rollout. Flaffy Thundershock. However, before the attack could commence, the wool Pokémon was struck a fourth time and flew through the air. Naruto quickly ran and caught Flaffy in his arms. Flaffy the electric type bleated. Naruto smirked and stroked his Pokémon's wool. "It's okay, girl. You did a good job. Quilava and I will finish her off." Naruto took out Flaffy's Pokeball. "Take a nice rest." The pink sheep bleated before vanishing into the Pokeball as red energy. Poor Flaffy, Hinata said. "Yeah, I could have sworn they had him with that powerful Thundershock," Akatsuchi said. Kakashi chuckled at the two. "It's okay, you two. That wasn't really the plan anyway," the silver-haired man explained. "Nani, Ivy." The two trainers and one Pokémon exclaimed as they watched Miltank. "So Naruto, how will you finish this?" Kakashi wondered. Naruto turned to his crimson-eyed partner. Quilava ran out onto the field and ignited its flames. "All right, Ember." Quilava released a barrage of fireballs from its mouth, but Miltank quickly avoided the attacks before raising its hoof for a stomp attack. "Quick attack," Naruto commanded. Quilava vanished as a stream of blue, red, and yellow as it used the speed to avoid the attack and then turned on the dime and crashed against Miltank's back, sending the bovine stumbling forward. "Ember, aim for the middle back," Naruto yelled. Quilava fired the small fireballs from its jaws and the small explosion from the attack sent Miltank soaring. Miltank fell to the ground and clutched the area that was hit. Miltank the pink cow groaned. Fuka glared at Naruto before telling her Pokémon to use rollout. "Use quick attack and then go into flame wheel," Naruto commanded. "Alright, Kakashi-sensei, I need to know how to build up power for flame wheel," Naruto said. Kakashi looked confused. Why flame wheel?" "Because rollout is sometimes a bit too fast to dodge. Also, it's a matter of pride. Quilava wants to overpower Miltank, and it did when flame wheel and rollout clashed." Yes, so ... how?" the blonde asked. The single-eyed man thought for a while before looking at Houndoom. "Okay, Naruto, watch carefully," Kakashi instructed as he called over the Black Hellhound. Houndoom Flamethrower. Naruto and Quilava observed the powerful fire blast as it hit a boulder and scorched the stone. "What is that supposed to do?" Naruto asked. Kakashi raised a hand to tell Naruto to wait. Flamethrower again. Another blast of fire was released from Houndoom, but this time it collided with the rock with much more force, causing it to shatter and melt in some areas. "So tell me, Naruto, what was different between the first flamethrower and the second?" Naruto shrugged. "One was weaker than the other," he guessed. Kakashi nodded. "Well, yes, that is true, but don't look at it in terms of power." Naruto thought for a while as he played over the scenes in his head. Then something clicked and his eyes widened. "The second one was faster," he exclaimed. Kakashi nodded. "The first flamethrower was released at a slower pace in comparison to the second. When dealing with fire, one must always remember velocity equals intensity. In other words, the faster you go, the hotter the flame, and the hotter the flame can turn the tide in a power struggle." Kakashi smirked when the two Pokémon clashed. He remembered smart boy. Kakashi grinned beneath his mask, his eye turning into an upside-down U flame wheel, and rollout collided. The two Pokémon separated and clashed once more. The action was repeated before they reached a stalemate area. "Come on, Quilava," Naruto encouraged his Pokémon. Quilava's flame wheel suddenly became faster and Miltank was knocked back, engulfed in a storm of fire. Miltank flew through the air and landed at Fuka's feet. Once the milk cow Pokémon recovered, it snorted in anger like an angry Tauros. "How dare you, Miltank!" "Execution by kiss. Use quick attack," Naruto said. Quilava quickly avoided Miltank and then crashed against Miltank's mid-back, hitting the bruise there. Miltank cried out in pain before turning and swiping Quilava with a hoof, sending the volcano Pokémon the ground. Stomp. Miltank raised its hoof and slammed it down on Quilava's form. The action was repeated a couple of times before Miltank engulfed Quilava in a hug. "Give Miltank some sugar," Fuka smirked. Miltank lips neared Quilava's face and Naruto's mind raced as he searched for an idea. Member. Quilava's mouth opened and a barrage of fireballs burned Miltank's face. Miltank cried out in pain before spitting and crashing its hoof against Quilava as it landed on the ground. Quilava flipped in the air and landed before Miltank shook out the soot from her face and its eyes twitched. "Quick, Miltank, use milk drink," Fuka commanded. Miltank nodded and drank its milk and ingested the substance and wiped the excess from its lips. The Pokémon flexed its arms to show it was better. "Alright, Miltank, execution by Kisakuzo," Fuka yelled. Miltank nodded and performed a rollout. "Dodge it with quick attack," Naruto said. Quilava performed the move and avoided the attack, but was suddenly struck in the back as Miltank had turned and crashed into the volcano Pokémon. The fire type flipped through the air and landed on its feet before it was struck by a second rollout. A third attack came, but Miltank had stopped rolling and performed the kiss as its variation of attract. Quilava's eyes became hearts before it was slammed on the ground by Miltank's suplex. Miltank then stomped down on Quilava's body and threw the volcano Pokémon skyward. No, 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 not again, Naruto yelled as he gripped his hair. Quilava fell to earth and was suddenly hit by the rollout that followed after, sending it back up. Alright, Miltank, finish it, the redhead ordered. However, as the pained volcano Pokémon was about to be dealt the finishing blow, Miltank froze. Finally, Naruto yelled to the heavens. Kakashi nodded in approval while Hinata, Akatsuchi and Eevee were confused. Huh? Flaffy was all Kakashi told them. The three gaped at each other. So that was his plan? Hinata asked. Static does come in handy sometimes, Kakashi said as he watched Fuka's panicked face. Aw, Miltank, Fuka cried out as she saw sparks of blue electricity surround her Pokémon. Now's your chance, Naruto, Akatsuchi yelled. Take her down, Naruto-kun, Hinata exclaimed. Quilava, quick attack. Quilava's snapped open and left a streak of color as it slammed into Miltank's head. Miltank clutched its throbbing skull before it was hit in the udders and then took off once more and hit the bruise on Miltank's back. Quilava backflipped off of Miltank's back and unleashed a storm of fire in the form of an ember attack. Miltank fell forward, but caught itself on its front hooves till it was on its knees. Quilava then began to run around in a circle. A streak of dust followed the speeding fire type. Now Quilava, finish it. Flame wheel. Quilava rolled and became a rotating wheel of fire. The attack was enhanced by the power of the charcoal Quilava held. But suddenly the flame changed from orange-yellow to a mixture of blue and white as Quilava's blaze ability kicked it. What the? Naruto's eyes widened as he stared at the blue and white flames. Quilava then stopped circling the milk cow Pokémon and then rolled forth and crashed straight into Miltank's body. Miltank released a cry of pain as it flew through the air. Miltank tumbled before creating a hole in the wall as it flew straight through it. Fuka gaped and Quilava stopped spinning. Its flames reduced to normal size and became their original orange-yellow color. Quilava turned to its trainer and grinned. Naruto and the others stared with silence before Naruto decided to break it. I did it, yada. Naruto ran forth and skidded as he reached his partner and hugged the fire type. Quilava, the volcano Pokémon, cried out. Kakashi clapped lightly while Eevee, Akatsuchi and Hinata cheered for the blonde. Way to go, Naruto, Akatsuchi yelled as he ran up and enveloped the boy in a hug. Hinata followed after, though a blush made its way to her face as she did so. Naruto grinned his foxy grin before he was released. He then walked up to the red-haired 19-year-old. Oi, Fuka-chan. Naruto smirked at the suffix the girl had asked him to call her before. The redhead looked up and chuckled at the boy as she returned Miltank to its pokeball. She slid the pokeball back into her sleeves and then bent down to the shorter boy. Naruto's eyes widened, along with everyone else's, when he received a kiss on the cheek from the older girl. What was that FF for? Naruto asked. Remember our little wager yesterday? You win. You get a kiss. Naruto blushed nervously while Hinata was inwardly fuming. Akatsuchi and Kakashi, along with Hinata's and Naruto's partners, were still gaping at him. Can I get a battle too? Kakashi asked. Fuka gave Kakashi the finger before turning back to Naruto and reached into her dress and pulled out a shining diamond-shaped badge. There was nothing special about it, no pattern, no particular shape, just a plain-looking badge. It was cream-colored and outlined in a darkish silver, just like his two previous badges. Here you are, Naruto-kun. The plain badge is proof of your victory over me, and here is a little something else. Fuka handed Naruto a CD case holding a grayish-white disc. TM45 Attract. Naruto read the inscription on the disc. Hi. Attract is a move that causes a Pokémon of the opposite gender to become infatuated with your Pokémon. However, the move cannot work on Pokémon of the same gender, as shown by your Flaffy earlier, and some Pokémon can still attack even when they are infatuated, and some Pokémon are even able to break through the infatuation entirely. Fuka explained the strengths and weaknesses of the move. Arigato, Fuka-chan. Naruto grinned. Fuka smirked and ruffled the boy's hair. Do you have a poke gear? The girl asked. Naruto nodded and pulled out the blue-colored device. Fuka swiped it from him and then typed a few buttons before handing him it back. There, now you have my number. So when you're ready for a rematch, just call, she said with a wink. Naruto nodded, though if you're calling for a date, wait until you're older. Naruto turned bright red at that, causing everyone around him to laugh. Urasai. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 4. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author KitsuneDragon on FANFICTIONnet. press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.